for the northwest suburbs. Only a light dusting along the Wisconsin border, but there still could be problems on the roads tomorrow night in Cook, DuPage, Will, and Lake counties. A man is accused of killing his elderly mother in northwest Indiana. Charles Trumbull is charged with murder in the death of Dixie Trumbull. The 91-year-old was found dead Sunday with head trauma in a home in Portage, Indiana. A 15-year-old is in critical condition following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. The teen was walking last night near 113th and Aberdeen when two suspects approached him. One of them pulled a gun and shot the victim in the stomach and shoulder. The boy was taken to Christ Hospital, and the incident is under investigation. Jussie Smollett maintaining that he didn't lie about being a victim of a racist and homophobic attack last year in Chicago. The former actor pleaded not guilty yesterday to new charges brought after a special prosecutor investigated.
Previously, he did forfeit his bond in the amount of $10,000. That, in essence, was a punishment stemming from the criminal proceedings, and therefore trying to punish him again a second time around is not permitted under the double jeopardy clause.
Well, that is the defense argument anyway, because they also filed a motion with the Illinois Supreme Court asking the indictment be thrown out over claims the special prosecutor was improperly appointed. A bicyclist is in stable condition after being stabbed on the 606 trail on Chicago's northwest side. A man was riding that bike yesterday in the 3200 block of West Bloomingdale when someone knocked him over and kicked the bicycle away from him. The attacker jumped on top of the victim and stabbed him in the right shoulder before running off. No one is in custody. Wisconsin State Police are investigating the discovery of a van filled with almost 300 gallons of gasoline in 15 plastic drums. They found the drums inside a van at an Oak Creek gas station. The van's rear seats have been removed to make room for all those barrels. Police say the suspects used stolen credit cards to buy the gas. The suspects were headed for Chicago. A former U.S. Marine this morning proving that age, well, it really is just a number. Guinness World Records confirming that 62-year-old George Hood set a new male world record for the longest time in the abdominal plank position. He held it for more than 8 hours and 15 minutes earlier this month here in Chicago. Hood, who is also a retired DEA supervisory special agent, also broke the record in 2011, but someone had to go beat him out in 2016. Hood says he spent about 2,100 hours planking in preparation to regain his title. Ayo Dosunmu scored a game-high 18. Illinois avoids the upset special we told you about yesterday. Knocked off Nebraska 71-59 in Champaign. College hoops tonight. DePaul's at Xavier, and Northern Illinois visits Eastern Michigan. Blackhawks make two main deals before the NHL trade deadline yesterday, including acquiring goaltender Malcolm Subban, defenseman Slava Demon, and a second-round pick in the 2020 NHL draft from Vegas. To complete that trade, the Hawks send goaltender Robert Leonard to Toronto. Hawks also send defenseman Eric Gustafsson to Calgary for a third-round pick. Cubs and White Sox in action in the Cactus League today. Sox visit the Indians. Southsiders tied the Dodgers yesterday 2-2. The news service of La Quinta by Wyndham. Taking your work on the road? Reward yourself with a stay at La Quinta by Wyndham. Even better, Wyndham Rewards members get access to great rates and earn points toward a stay at any hotel by Wyndham. Book direct at lq.com. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is amazed there are Republicans.
They ask, where are all of these Republicans coming from? And I do too. I ask the same question. You are lied to from kindergarten through graduate school because you are indoctrinated rather than educated, and somehow see through that?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
America has a retirement crisis. 10,000 people turn 65 every day with alarmingly little savings. Company pensions are a thing of the past, and 401k plans are riddled with fees and expenses. We're living longer, so our retirement savings need to last longer. And these record low interest rates are virtually punishing savers, forcing many people to take on far too much risk in the stock market. So what can you do to help ensure you don't become another statistic of this crisis? The answers are in a free educational workshop with Tom Fortino, featured expert on Fox Business, Forbes, and the host of the Alpha Wealth Hour heard on AM 560. Learn about the 5 major threats to your retirement, creating lifetime income, and the Social Security decision, plus tax-free strategies to help make the IRS a smaller partner in your retirement, and how to pass along more wealth to the people you love. Seats are available in multiple locations throughout Chicagoland. Visit alphawealthgroup.com and click on the Classes tab to reserve your free seats now. alphawealthgroup.com.
A business needs to be built on a great foundation, one with the framework of integrity and tradition. Chapel Design Build delivers just that, providing design build and general contracting services using Butler Steel Building Systems. Their projects dot the landscape from O'Hare to DeKalb. You see their work in office and warehouse additions, recreational facilities, large-scale distribution centers, and manufacturing plants all over northern Illinois. Partnering with Butler Steel Buildings, Chapel Design Build has developed an extensive subcontractor base and valuable market knowledge to get your quality-built project completed on time and on budget, ensuring your project is a success for your business and one that you will be proud of for years to come. The goal is to build lasting relationships with their clients using buildings that last from Butler. Get started on your next building project built with Butler Steel. Visit chapeldb.com. That's Chapel D as in design, B as in build.com.
Upwork has the world's largest network of proven independent professionals, and I have an alphabetical list of them. Accountants, administrative assistants, animators, architects. You get the point. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how.
5:10, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and Jim Talamonte.
In downtown Chicago this Fat Tuesday morning, there's a closure of Washington between Franklin and Wells. And Franklin is closed. There in the loop between Madison and Wacker for filming. That's till 6 o'clock this morning. Expressways and tollways look pretty good for now. Ahead of that incoming weather, on the Kennedy, the reversibles are set to open inbound after being closed. We're not seeing any delays inbound or outbound. Now, outbound, the exit to Addison is set to reopen after an overnight closure. The Edens looks good. The Eisenhower is fine for now. Same goes for the Stevenson. No issues. Ryan, I-57, Bishop Porter tollways. Watch for pedestrians around those Polish bakeries picking up those punchki. It's traffic. I'm Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, we are on full punchki alert this morning. Just hold off on the prune ones, okay? Don't send those over. We're not going to eat them. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A winter weather advisory in effect tonight. For today, clouds and breezy, a bit of snow and rain. All snow with little or no accumulation. Later today, high 40. Breezy with snow tonight, 1 to 2 inches, low 28. For tomorrow, some snow, a coating to an inch and a high 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
38 at O'Hare, 38 Midway, 36 in Aurora, and your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Is your company prepared for an emergency? Are your employees trained in CPR? Would they know what to do if another employee needed basic first aid, or worse yet, suffered a sudden cardiac arrest on the job? It's estimated that over 400,000 lives are lost every year in the United States to this killer. But sudden cardiac arrest is also one of the most preventable causes of death. Call Cardiac Rescue Systems today and arm yourself with the tools necessary to treat a first aid victim or prevent heart attack or cardiac arrest from needlessly taking lives. We offer great pricing on AEDs and CPR first aid training. Our certified professional trainers will come right to your business and train on site. Call Cardiac Rescue Systems today for a free quote at 630-541-5469 or check us out online at cardiacrescue.com. That's cardiacrescue.com. Cardiac Rescue Systems. Call today. Lives depend on it.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know logos work because they're on everything from the top of skyscrapers to the bottom of shoes. Ever wondered why? Or how to best use your logo to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away the latest issue of Amplify, the digital magazine that reveals promotional product success stories absolutely free to everyone who texts BOOST to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free e-magazine will reveal invaluable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, and grow your business. Get the latest issue of Amplify absolutely free by texting BOOST to 88988. That's BOOST to 88988.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It was a star-studded affair at the Staples Center memorial service for Kobe Bryant. Of course, Jimmy Kimmel presided over it. He had Kobe Bryant in his show a number of times. They apparently became pretty tight because it was a pretty emotional opening that Kimmel offered.
This is a sad day, but it is also a celebration of life, of their lives, and of life itself in the building where those of us who are Lakers fans and Kobe fans celebrated so many of the best times of our lives.
I mean, I couldn't watch it. I was bawling during this entire service, but Jimmy Kimmel really hit home.
Yeah, he talked about Kobe as an artist, and he really was. He's one of those athletes that takes it to the next level of artistry. And another one that we're very familiar with in Chicago was on hand. We'll get to him in a second, but first Kimmel.
Everywhere you go, you see his face, his number. Gigi's face, Gigi's number. Everywhere, at every intersection. There are hundreds of murals painted by artists who were inspired, not because he's a basketball player, but because Kobe was an artist too. And not just in LA, across the country, in Kobe's hometown, Philadelphia, in Italy, in India, the Philippines, China, New York, Phoenix, Boston, for God's sake.
Austin took a shot there, exactly. I don't know. Did you say
in
Austin
places
or
where
Boston?
you would be booed
Boston,
on the court, Kobe is missed. Even the great Boston Celtic Bill Russell wore number 24 and a Lakers jersey to yesterday's game.
Yeah, that's cool. That was cool, and it was cool to recognize Russell, and it was cool that Bill Russell was on hand. And then this last piece from Kimmel, I thought was a nice touch. It's about the only public recognition of the Bryant family's faith, but taking a moment to, consistent with Catholic ritual, to share fellowship with those around you, as Kobe would have wanted you to do.
The best thing I think I was able to come up with is this: gratitude. It seems to me that all we can do is be grateful for the time we had with them and for the time we have left with each other. And that's all. In the Catholic Church, which the Bryant family is part of, at Mass, we share the sign of peace. This is a moment to hug or shake hands with people around you, and it occurred to me that is something that only seems to happen at church and at sporting events, when perfect strangers who love the same team are suddenly hugging and high-fiving and celebrating together. And so, since we are here today to celebrate, I'd like to invite you right now to take a moment to say hello to the people around you, whether you know them or not, to be grateful for life and for the fact that we are all here together.
And I just thought those notes of gratitude and fellowship, whether you like Jimmy Kimmel or not, I normally don't have much use for him, but those were the right notes to strike. I thought those were poignant moments, and they struck me as quite sincere.
And before we get to Michael Jordan and Shaq, Vanessa Bryant spoke for the first time publicly. I know she's posted things on Instagram, but if I were her, I mean, losing your husband and your child, I could not even imagine living. And she talked about their relationship with God.
God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together. Babe, you take care of our Gigi. And I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco. We're still the best team. We love and miss you, Boo Boo and Gigi. May you both rest in peace and have fun in heaven until we meet again one day.
Was it me, or did they have too many pet names for each other?
I think it's so
There was a
sweet.
lot
It
of
makes
pet
them more
names.
human.
A lot of pet names for
And
each
Michael
other.
Jordan helped her down from the stage, which I thought was a gentlemanly act, and it was so beautiful.
Yeah, his airness was there, and
He was great.
he was good, and he had a moment of levity while tears were streaming
Yeah,
down his
'cause
face
he
the
knew what
entire
was gonna
time.
happen.
I don't think that perhaps a lot of people understand how close the relationship was between Jordan and Bryant, and he really explained it in some detail, the big brother, little brother relationship that he had developed with Kobe over the years.
We talked about everything. And he was just trying to be a better person. Now he's got me. I'll have to look at another crime meme for the next.
Not since his dad's funeral have you seen Jordan cry in public.
I told my wife I wasn't going to do this because I didn't want to see that for the next 3 or 4 years. That is what Kobe Bryant does to me. I'm pretty sure Vanessa and his friends all can say the same thing. He knows how to get to you in a way that affects you personally, even though if he's being a pain in the ass. But you ever have a sense of love for him and the way that he can bring out the best in you. And he did that for me.
And then Jordan closed his remarks.
When Kobe Bryant died, a piece of me died. And as I look in this arena and across the globe, a piece of you died, or else you wouldn't be here. Those are the memories that we have to live with and we learn from. I promise you, from this day forward, I will live with the memories of knowing that I had a little brother that I tried to help in every way I could. Please rest in peace, little brother.
And then Shaq came up. And Shaq was well, you know, he's Shaq. We've heard him talk before and we've seen him cry before, but
There's no I in team.
Exactly.
The day Kobe gained my respect was the guys were complaining. Said, Shaq, Kobe's not passing the ball. I said, I'll talk to him. I said, Kobe, there's no I in team. And Kobe said, I know, but there's an in me in that.
Pretty good. Pretty good comeback, too.
So I went back. So I went back and told Rick and Big Shot Bob, I said, just get the rebound. He's not passing.
You want the ball? Go get the ball. Then you can have control of the court.
Related story, it was announced that Vanessa Bryant has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the helicopter company that operated the flight carrying Kobe and the daughter. And the other thing that was nice, Kimmel started it, but others mentioned it too, at least the ones that I saw give eulogies, that the other 7 people who were on board were also mentioned and their families were remembered. And so that was a nice touch. Obviously, Kobe is the star power and his daughter and that relationship and that family. But it was nice that those other family friends and those other families who lost loved ones were also remembered.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560. The Answer.
Their boots are always dirty because at First Choice Equipment, they work alongside their customers to help find innovative solutions to their equipment needs. First Choice Equipment is a trusted family-owned full-service construction equipment dealer that provides skid steers, excavators, track loaders, and wheel loaders to contractors throughout northern Illinois and southeast Wisconsin. First Choice Equipment sells, rents, and services Kubota, Gale, and Mustang construction equipment. Kubota is proud to be the world's #1 selling compact excavator and was awarded the highest retained value in 2019 by Equipment Watch. At First Choice Equipment, they work alongside construction professionals who put their work boots on every day. Visit their website at firstchoiceequipment.com to view all of the Kubota, Gale, and Mustang products, or call 855-510-6050. That's 855-510-6050. At First Choice Equipment, they're not just building your neighborhood, they're also part of your neighborhood.
Hey, get on it. If you want to get a great night's sleep, get the Giza cotton sheets from MyPillow. They are soft, they are comfy, and they keep you cool at night. And right now, we still have the buy one, get one free offer, and you don't know when it's going to end, so do it today. Go to MyPillow.com, type Amy, A-M-Y, in that promo code, and you'll get 2 sets of Giza cotton sheets for the price of one. You can get one in one color, another in another color. They're various colors, all different sizes, and they really are the best sheets out there. You can also get a MyPillow, a mattress topper, the pet bed. There's a lot of products, the MyPillow towels, which are new. Find it all at MyPillow.com, and be sure to type Amy in that promo code, and you'll get deep discounts and free shipping off all your order. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
The auto show is here, and that means the lowest prices of the year at Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream. Saving you money, real money, as in thousands of dollars, is what we're all about. If you're ready for a new or certified pre-owned used vehicle, now is the time to come into Joe Cotton Ford. Our auto show specials will prove that to you. Like 0% for 66 months on select 2020 Explorers plus $4,500 rebate. Or 0% for 72 months on 2019 F-150s. Or 0% for 66 months on 2020 Escapes plus $2,500 rebate. Come see why we're Chicagoland's best Ford buying experience. It's our promise to you. We'll treat you great and save you money. From 3 generations of our family to yours, for 45 years, you have our word on it. At Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com.
To qualified buyers plus tax, title, license, and dealer fees through 2/28/20. See dealer for details. joecottonford.com.
You're probably not thinking about back to school season right now. In fact, most parents with kids in school are more likely to be thinking about spring break. But now's the best time to think about where you'll be sending your son or daughter to school this fall. It's a big decision, and you may have felt like private school simply wasn't in the budget for your family. Well, think again. We want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over Chicagoland, offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located across Chicagoland, including Westminster Christian in Elgin, Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, Chicago Hope Academy on the near west side of the city. Make private school affordable for your family for the first time this year. These vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, well, going from poignant moments at the Kobe Bryant Memorial Service to ignorant ones. Behold the tolerance of the left again, and this has another layer of irony with Jussie Smollett in court yesterday pleading not guilty to his hate crime hoax offenses. A couple in Indiana, Kaylin Smith, who's 18, and Kyron Jones, 23, each charged with 2 felony counts of intimidation and criminal recklessness involving 2 teens riding on bicycles who are brothers that they tried to, run off the road.
Right.
Yeah. Driving their bikes in the city of Hobart when a Chevy Malibu began following them. The boys said it swerved as if the driver wanted to hit them, and they had to ride their bikes into the grass. Woman, later identified as the 18-year-old Smith, was yelling about Trump flags during the incident, saying, "Y'all scared like your president? America is not great, F." some F word,
I
pejorative.
didn't know they were shouting things at him too.
Yeah, they were. They all took the flag, and they were charged with theft of taking the flag. And the other thing was that on the Snapchat video that was obtained, the driver Kyron Jones, 23, who's African American, said he would say that the brothers had yelled a racial epithet at him if they went to the police and told. So he was ready to do a hate crime.
So he's ready to do the
hoax.
hate crime thing.
Yeah.
He's ready to pull a Jussie Smollett.
Yeah. And so this is just a couple weeks after the Jacksonville incident where that 27-year-old ran his van through a voter registration booth in a mall that was manned by Trump voters too. So, I mean, just in terms of, all the talk in 2016 and forward about fights at Trump rallies and those sorts of things. And nobody condones violence. And there's no need for any of that in any venue, a Sanders rally or a Trump rally or two kids riding their bike or a voter registration booth in a mall, obviously. But the one-sidedness of the media's reporting on it is noteworthy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The human stain convicted at 5:38.
And later, Bernie doubles down on his love for Castro. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 38 degrees at 5:29. A lakeshore flood warning remains in effect beginning around 3 p.m. However, that winter storm watch has mostly been canceled and shoved off to the south and east. A winter weather advisory for Cook and DuPage counties and Lake County goes into effect later today. Former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak has died. Mubarak came to power following the assassination of then-President Anwar Sadat in 1981 and held on to power for almost 3 decades. He was 91. The World Health Organization says the coronavirus outbreak that began in China is not a pandemic.
We are not witnessing the uncontained global spread of this virus, and we are not witnessing large-scale severe disease or deaths.
The biggest hotspot, though, outside of Asia is Italy, where more than 220 have been infected and at least 7 have died. Meantime, the White House is preparing to ask Congress for emergency funding to combat the coronavirus.
Well, we need some funding here to make sure that we protect all Americans, that we keep us safe, we keep us well.
White House spokesman Hogan Gidley. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, the frontrunner as 7 Democrat presidential candidates take the debate stage tonight in Charleston, South Carolina. Tom Steyer says the U.S. does need a progressive leader, but not one named Bernie Sanders.
So I am a progressive Democrat, but I'll tell you what I'm not. I'm not a democratic socialist because I don't even know what a democratic socialist is, but I'm pretty sure we need a private sector to get stuff done.
Former Vice President Joe Biden badly needs a win in South Carolina. The debate airs on CBS at 8 p.m. tonight. A woman is dead after she was shot trying to fight off someone breaking into her apartment on Chicago's north side. Police say the victim was inside of a second-floor apartment with a friend in the 4400 block of North Francisco when they heard a knock at the door. Someone wearing all black and a ski mask tried to force their way into the home. After the victim's friend answered the door, the woman was trying to help close that door when the masked intruder shot her in the chest. She was pronounced dead at the scene. A 15-year-old boy is in critical condition following a shooting on Chicago's far south side. The teen was shot last night near 113th and Aberdeen. The boy was taken to Christ Hospital, and that incident remains under investigation. Ayo Dosunmu, a game-high 18 as Illinois avoids the upset special. Knocks off Nebraska in Champaign 71-59. Blackhawks make 2 main deals before the NHL trade deadline yesterday, including acquiring goaltender Malcolm Subban and defenseman Slava Demon and a second-round pick from the Vegas Golden Knights. To complete that trade, Hawks send goalie Robin Lerner to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hawks also send defenseman Eric Gustafsson to Calgary for a third-round pick. Blackhawks take on the Blues later on tonight. It's 5:33. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can't believe we are where we are.
It's just every question is answered. This is what's so frustrating to me, watching all of this shift show. How is it even possible we are here? How is this possible? Especially knowing all that we know. It shouldn't be.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Restore your youthful appearance with Salovin Age-Defying Skincare. Packed with vitamin-rich ingredients, Salovin is a natural skincare line that leaves skin feeling hydrated, soft, and velvety smooth. This luxury collection of skincare is available right now at Salovin.com. That's SALEVIN.com. Salovin's skincare line includes eye cream, a soft finishing moisturizer, and high-potency lift and firm cream, which provides a CBD-infused pentapeptide facelift in a bottle. For a limited time, go to Salovin.com and use code AM560 at checkout for 20% off your first purchase. Each Salovin product uses the power of CBD and is gluten-free, cruelty-free, and infused with 100% pure CBD from organic, whole hemp plants, farmed and made right here in the USA. Luxury skincare available right now at Salovin.com. That's SALEVIN.com. For a limited time, use code AM560 at checkout for 20% off your first purchase.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye, and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting LIKE to 350350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for as little as $220 per eye. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 laser eye surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago.
What's that text again?
Text LIKE to 350350. That's LIKE to 350350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
5:35 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
We are starting to see some congestion now on some of the expressways, mainly to the south. Inbound Stevenson, traffic's a little heavy from Ashland to the Ryan. You'll find a little bit of congestion on the inbound Ryan approaching downtown. On the inbound Bishopford Freeway, traffic tight Cottage Grove to the Verge. You're looking at only about a 1 or 2 minute delay there. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy as well. Reversible lanes are now open inbound. No delays to report yet on the eyes now. Traffic starting to build a little bit through the avenues. Tollway traffic moves nicely. No problems to report on I-80 or Northwest Indiana. Downtown Chicago, there are closures of Washington between Franklin and Wells, and Franklin, Madison to Wacker for filming. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, a bit of snow and rain. In the afternoon, becoming all snow heading into the evening, high of 40. Periods of light snow overnight, maybe an inch or two. Low 28. 38 at O'Hare, 36 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Harvey Weinstein soon to be joining the Bill Cosby wing of a jail in either New York or L.A. or perhaps both before this is all said and done. Convicted on 2 of 5 counts of sexual crimes, of the sexual crimes he was charged with yesterday.
And then when they were taking him to jail, he got heart palpitations and said his heart hurt, and she had chest pains and shortness of breath, and now he's waking up this morning in the hospital.
Make sure they got him on Epstein watch. Weinstein looking at a minimum of 5 years in prison, as much as 29 years for the crimes for which he was convicted. Third degree rape in the Mann case, the Mann incident, I should say. It's one case, the Mann incident. This is Jessica Mann, was an aspiring actress at the time, and first-degree criminal sexual assault in the Miriam Haley incident, who was a former production assistant. And it's interesting. I mean, there are some grounds for appeal, and undoubtedly Weinstein's lawyers will appeal. One was the juror that was seated who had written a book about predatory older men. But as Andy McCarthy points out in his piece on the topic, getting a case overturned because the court permitted the seating of a juror who should have arguably been excused is a very uphill battle on appeal. It's exceedingly rare for a conviction to be reversed due to alleged juror bias. That also informs the decision we're waiting for on the appeal that Roger Stone's attorneys have made to his convictions based on juror bias, so we'll see. In addition to that, now Harvey Weinstein has got an arraignment date in L.A.
Yeah, he faces charges of raping one woman and sexually assaulting another in separate incidents over a 2-day period back in 2013.
You want to hear something ridiculous?
Yes.
Bill Cosby's publicist issued a statement on Weinstein's conviction.
Oh, no.
He said, "This is not shocking because these jurors were not sequestered, which gave them access to media coverage and the sentiments of public opinion. There's no way you would have anyone believe that Mr. Weinstein was going to receive a fair and impartial trial, although the fact that he was effectively acquitted on 3 of the 5 charges suggests that actually the jurors did weigh the evidence relative to the charges and the standards of evidence to convict. But anyway, he goes on, this guy, Andrew Wyatt, Cosby's PR flack. Also, this judge showed that he wanted a conviction by sending the jurors back to deliberate after they were hung on many of the counts. That's not unusual. Here's the question that should haunt all Americans, especially wealthy and famous men. Where do we go in this country to find fairness and impartiality in the judicial system? And where do we go in this country to find due process? Who will think of the wealthy and famous men? Think that's
They're the victims now, right?
You think that's going to be a rallying cry? You think people are going to take to the
Let's stand up and
streets?
unite. Yeah, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36. Type in DA, then a quick
Where,
comment.
oh, where can wealthy, famous men get justice in this country? Now, there is something to the idea that that wealth and fame gives you privilege and access to resources that other people don't
Right.
have.
You get the best attorneys because you can afford the best attorneys.
But there's also an argument that says that people want to make an example out of you because you're wealthy and famous, so as to make it clear to the public that there aren't 2 systems of justice, one for the wealthy and famous and one for everybody else, or one for the wealthy and famous and anybody who was in the Obama administration, particularly senior leadership at the FBI, and then everybody else. But I mean, the whole, talk about the wrong message to send, the wrong timing for the wrong defendant and now convict. I just said, wow, the stones
of
on
that guy.
Cosby's guy. Just, where do wealthy and famous men go for justice in America? Yeah, I don't know how that's going to play.
Don't you think he'll spend the rest of his life in prison and die in prison, Weinstein?
Yes, I think that's what's going to happen. And
if he doesn't have a heart attack first. And
I-
get rid of that walker. That's such a fake bull jive instrument that he used in court. Because then, did you see him? So he walks in with the walker, and then one time he got to the stairs, and he kind of threw it to the side and just walked down the stairs like, oh, wait, time to act again. Give me the walker.
No, I know, with the tennis balls on the.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's great. It's pure gigante. It's pure mob boss. It's the mob boss walking around Manhattan
over,
in in a robe, right? So he's lost his faculties. He's mentally unfit to stand trial. It's the mob boss
Trying to get
defense
sympathy
play.
for jurors.
No
Oh, look
sympathy.
at me. I'm old. I have a walker.
No sympathy
Don't
there.
do this to me.
Interestingly, over the weekend, Clint Eastwood, another wealthy, famous man.
Yes, who might not get justice in America.
He doesn't need it because he hasn't been charged with
Good,
anything.
and I hope he
accused of
never is.
anything. But he addressed the Me Too movement. I know a lot of people focused on him saying he likes some things Trump's done, but he doesn't like his behavior all the time. The best thing we can do is get Mike Bloomberg in there. That's Clint Eastwood and everybody. Oh, God, Clint Eastwood. Whatever. Do you look to Clint Eastwood for who you're going to vote for?
No.
So don't worry about it. Do you look to Dick Van Dyke for who you're going to vote for? So don't worry about it.
Who, by the way, was born in Missouri but raised in Danville.
Yeah.
With
Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman contemporary. Danville is a hotbed of acting talent, no question. Or
That's
once
awesome.
was. So Eastwood on the Me Too movement, because of course this is the biggest scalp so far, the Me Too movement, and really it's not. I shouldn't say it that way because they don't own it. Harvey Weinstein is a disgusting human being. More than 100 women have made accusations against him. That's why he's earned the nickname the Human Stain in so many ways. And so do I have an ounce of empathy, much less sympathy for him, that he's going to spend the rest of his life and die? Not at all. I mean, he's so shameless. Do not forget, when these accusations first started piling up, thanks to Ronan Farrow's reporting, what did he do? I don't have time to deal with this. I'm too busy fighting the NRA. Right? His liberalism, his leftism, he thought provided him with privilege to act like a Philistine.
I mean, he terrorized and attacked women for decades, and then he does that.
And thankfully he didn't. And then thankfully it didn't provide him that privilege, though. So to hell with Harvey Weinstein. However, for the larger conversation, Clint Eastwood has a point. The Me Too generation has its points, he acknowledged. He appreciates women are standing up against people who are trying to shake you down for sexual favors, to quote. Sexual predation, said Eastwood, has been in the movie business since the days he started as a bit part actor. It was very prolific back in the 40s and the 50s. Then he pauses. And the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s.
In 2000.
But he is concerned that the policing of sexual relations is going too far. People are on the defensive because of Harvey and all of these guys. He doesn't have any sympathy for them. But he worries that the presumption of innocence, not only in law, but in philosophy, has been lost in accusations of sexual behavior. And we've discussed this a lot with all of these various cases and allegations. Yeah, the presumption of innocence, not just as a matter of law, but as a philosophy and culture, is important. You just believe the accuser because they're making an accusation. No, absolutely not. A case-by-case basis based on the quality of the accusation in terms of how is it backed up with evidence, particularly when you're talking about accusations that end people. Right. And so, celebrate the Harvey Weinstein convictions all you want, and there's probably more to come by the time L.A. gets through with him. But also remember the balancing. We just had this matter a couple of weeks ago where it turned out all the people that wanted to cancel Johnny Depp, and he did suffer for the accusations that his ex-wife Amber Heard made against him about physically abusing her, lost the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
And she's the one who physically abused. Well, she was the physical abuser in that relationship, not him.
The physical aggressor, and she had, right, because there's audio that surfaced. There's audio that surfaced where she admits it.
Right.
So it's. I don't know why it's so complicated. I don't know why it's just like, let's make sure that somebody is telling the truth. We have a multitude of cases where people have not told the truth. There's all kinds of incentives for them not to tell the truth. You have people politicizing this issue that shouldn't be in the realm of politics to score points for feminism against the male patriarchy, against the patriarchy and against men in general, and all this other nonsense. Just go where the facts lead in particular cases and punish people like Harvey Weinstein to the full extent of the law. It's just so simple, isn't it?
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg, and my team wants to pay your rent or mortgage for an entire year. You heard me. Team Hochberg is giving listeners an opportunity to have us pay your rent or mortgage payment for an entire year. We've teamed up with the Chicago Blackhawks to offer 2 renters and 2 homeowners the opportunity to shoot the puck during the March 22nd Blackhawks game. Score a goal, and Team Hochberg will pay your rent or mortgage for the entire year. But you can't win unless you register at chicagoblackhawks.com/Team Hochberg. Register and review official rules at chicagoblackhawks.com/Team Hochberg. That's chicagoblackhawks.com/Team Hochberg. Registration ends February 29th. Team Hochberg helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Networks of the future are here now. Game-changing serverless networks with technology that's finally ready for prime time. Turnkey IT is ready to set up your business, increase productivity, save you money, and a lot of headaches. Imagine not having to purchase or maintain a local server in your building and continue using all the tools you rely on with Microsoft 365. Everything is in one place on the Office 365 cloud platform with all files and folders stored, backed up, and ready to be shared securely within your organization. Can your business go serverless? Turnkey IT can get you started with a free 5-point assessment to determine if your business qualifies, and it only takes about 2 minutes. Visit turnkey.pro today to speak with one of their team members to find out more and join the growing number of companies using the Microsoft 365 platform now.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Frank Vance, co-owner of Egan Vance Insurance Agency on Chicago's Northwest Side and a customer of Signature Bank. In my line of work, we pride ourselves on being there for our clients when they need it the most, and we recognize when someone does the same for us. As Egan Vance was expanding, we wanted to buy a much sought-after building in the neighborhood. We couldn't waste any time. I called Signature Bank, and that was all it took. I didn't have to talk to multiple people in siloed departments with multiple forms to fill out. One call did it all. As the one who was always looking out for my clients, it was a great change to know that my bank, Signature Bank, was looking out for me.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
The late, great Winston Churchill said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." Pretty wise words considering all of the distractions in modern society.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI, 844-HIRE-ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson with a great way to start the new year. Get your best night's sleep ever with a MyPillow and a set of those new Giza cotton sheets from MyPillow. And you can still receive your second set of sheets for free. 2 for 1. And if you add anything else to your order, like MyPillows, mattress toppers, the new MyPillow towels, anything, those items will ship free too. And you can still get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, but you have to use the promo code Amy. You know, I just started sleeping with brand new Giza cotton sheets, and I'm sleeping so much better. Plus, the new MyPillow towels are extremely soft and absorbent. And all products have a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. So go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special box and get 2 sets of Giza cotton sheets for the price of 1. That's MyPillow.com. Click the radio specials box and enter promo code Amy. Or call 800-489-0201, 800-489-0201. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Visit MyPillow.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and we have some breaking news. Joe Biden is dropping out of the presidential race to run for U.S. Senate in South Carolina.
And you're the ones that sent Barack Obama the presidency. And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay? That's all I've really got to say to you. I'm about...
Oh, well, at least he knew what state he was in, but he didn't know what office he was running for.
If you don't like me, did he say vote for the other Biden? Is Hunter running now? One of the other hillbilly members of the Biden family?
To say
other guy?
Other guy? Don't vote for
other
the other
Biden?
guy. We
other
don't
guy?
want Bernie in there.
Joe Biden running for U.S. Senate in South Carolina, ostensibly challenging Lindsey Graham in 2020, although I don't know if he can qualify for the ballot at this late date.
Yeah.
And he's also not a resident of South Carolina, which presents a residency issue. So anyway, good luck to Joe Biden on the Senate race in South Carolina. And I guess this, with the end of his campaign, now switching over to the Senate side, I guess we should memorialize Joe Biden's time in national politics.
It's not over yet.
I mean, the president, you mean the Senate race.
Right.
He's looking at the Senate race. South Carolina, he said it was his firewall, and then he said over the weekend that it wasn't. He never said it was his firewall. This is an interview with Margaret Brennan from Face the Nation.
As the Nevada caucuses were going on yesterday, we spoke with former Vice President Joe Biden. He told us that he was confident about his prospects in South Carolina and beyond. Our latest Battleground Tracker polling shows your lead with South Carolina black voters is thinning out. In November, you were at 54% support. It's now at 35%. That's a 19-point difference.
It's also
What is happening?
What's happening is you have Steyer spending hundreds of millions, tens of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars out campaigning there. And so I think a lot's happening in terms of the amount of money being spent by the billionaires to try to cut into the African-American vote. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Brennan pressed him. He said, I never said that that South Carolina is my firewall. In a February 2nd, 2020 interview with NBC News, I think I'll do well in Nevada, and I think I have a real firewall in South Carolina. So, you know.
And the latest NBC Marist poll shows Biden ahead just by
margin of error.
Margin of error. So 27%, Sanders 23%. This is among likely primary voters.
A good piece by Naomi Emery over at Washington Examiner about Biden. This idea, Biden, he's not in his prime anymore.
You think?
And he never was. There never was a prime for Joe Biden. And she goes back to recount how some liberal journalists characterized Joe Biden over the course of his 30 years of existing. Someone once called Joe Biden the only 29-year-old underachiever ever elected to the United States Senate. Paul Taylor wrote in his 1989 opus, See How They Run. Mary McGrory once described him as, quote, a collection of good instincts and incoherent utterance, pleasant, energetic, but not in control. In The New Yorker, Elizabeth Drew wrote that he was, quote, knocked out by a weakness that was going to catch up with him, intellectual barrenness. He was a nice guy who hasn't demonstrated depth or mental or verbal discipline, and she saw no heft in his mantra of change. This is in previous runs for president, not this one. Jack Germond and Jules Witcover, Jack Germond famously of the Baltimore Sun, took up the idea and ran with it, and of course recounting his plagiarizing whole speeches from Robert F. Kennedy and Neil Kinnock in 1988 when he ran. He's lied, or, he's a fabulist, but he's lied about so many things. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class. Not true. He also said that...
recently, he just said that he got arrested by trying to visit Nelson Mandela, who was 900 miles away from where he claims he was.
Went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class. In his first year at law school, he failed one class, forced to repeat it. He went to law school on a partial need-based scholarship, not an academic one. We know about the fake story about him pinning the silver the Silver Star on a serviceman in Afghanistan. That didn't happen. He lies about the accident that killed his first wife and daughter, saying that the driver of the car that struck them was drunk. It wasn't drunk.
It was a truck driver, not a drunk driver. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a lie.
I mean, there's
Is he trying to, get more sympathy from the American people?
these bizarre stories about corn pop
Oh, yeah.
and the swimming pool.
Sugar pop, top pop.
And it's not just that he's a fabulous. He's also he's also just depraved. Remember what he said, being Obama's little attack dog, to about Mitt Romney in 2012. I mean, you don't have to like Mitt Romney, but they're all going to put you back in chains to black voters. That the Mitt Romney and Republicans were, basically a pro-slavery party in 2012. Shameless, despicable, lightweight,
Oh, he said
fabulous.
The Obama administration didn't lock people up in cages. They're the ones who started the cages, not President Trump. Just a lot of lies. It didn't fit his narrative. So now he's just throwing stuff up against the wall.
And he's not a nice guy. And he's not a harmless guy. I mean, he may be harmless in terms of ever becoming president of the United States, the threat of him ever becoming president of the United States, but he's been a despicable politician for 4 decades. And you know what? When he suffers another ignominious defeat, good riddance.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump requests $2.5 billion for COVID-19 prevention at 6:06.
And later, is Obama a Bernie bro? But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
The very latest on the winter weather advisory and the very latest on the snowfall that is beginning to fizzle. A bicycle is stabbed on the 606 trail. WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
Could Wall Street try to make a rebound? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Stock futures are rising the day after a 1,000-point Dow drop, the third biggest ever. President Trump called it bad and told business leaders in India this morning.
Things like that happen and you have it in your business all the time, had nothing to do with you.
Now, the sell-off was triggered by coronavirus fears as the cases keep growing. The president just said at a news conference ongoing that he's confident that they'll be handling the cases here in the U.S. well, but in China, 2,600 people have died. And in other countries, almost 1,000 cases in South Korea, more than 200 with 7 deaths in Italy. Now, the White House is asking Congress for more money to deal with the coronavirus. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the $2.5 billion request would fund vaccine development, equipment and supplies, and response activities. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the request is overdue and inadequate. And she told reporters in San Francisco's Chinatown,
I do have concern that the president's budget cut 19% of the Center for Disease Control.
Speaker Pelosi said Democrats will fight the cut in the president's spending plan. A White House Budget Office spokesperson says existing resources are also being freed up to help combat the virus. Dave.
Rachel, 7 Democrats running for president debate tonight in South Carolina ahead of Saturday's primary there. Bernie Sanders and his momentum from wins in New Hampshire and Nevada have him cutting Joe Biden's lead to single digits in that state. Biden also blaming Tom Steyer's rise for cutting into his support in South Carolina. Steyer told Fox.
The implication is that he owns the African-American vote. He doesn't have to earn it. That it's something that institutional politicians from Washington, D.C. somehow own. That's ridiculous.
Hosni Mubarak has died. He was Egypt's leader for nearly 30 years until the Arab Spring uprising drove him out of power in 2011. Then he was arrested, jailed, convicted of corruption. Mubarak was freed in 2017. He was 91 when he died today. America's listening to Fox News.
37 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A lakeshore flood warning will kick in around 3 p.m. as winds continue to gust through the evening. While our winter storm watch has been canceled, a winter weather advisory has been put in place. A woman is dead, shot while trying to fight off someone breaking into an apartment on Chicago's north side. The victim inside of a second-floor apartment with a friend last night in the 4400 block of North Francisco when someone wearing all black tried to force his way into the home. After the victim's friend answered the door, the woman was trying to help shut that door when the masked intruder shot her in the chest. She was pronounced dead at the scene. A man is accused of killing his elderly mother in northwest Indiana. Charles Trumbull is charged with murder in the death of Dixie Trumbull. The 91-year-old victim was found dead Sunday with head trauma in Portage. Jesse Smollett maintaining he did not lie about being the victim of a racist and homophobic attack last year. Former actor pleading not guilty to new charges yesterday brought by a special prosecutor.
Previously, he did forfeit his bond in the amount of $10,000. That, in essence, was a punishment stemming from the criminal proceedings, and therefore trying to punish him again a second time around is not permitted under the double jeopardy clause.
The former actor's defense attorney also filed a motion with the Illinois Supreme Court asking the indictment be tossed out over claims the special prosecutor was improperly appointed. IU DeSomo, 18 points. Illinois avoids the upset special in the Big Ten, knocking off Nebraska 71-59 in Champaign. Blackhawks make two main deals before the NHL trade deadline. The big one, goalie Robin Lehner was sent to Toronto through Las Vegas. Las Vegas sends Malcolm Subban and defenseman Slava Demon to the Hawks along with a second-round pick. The news service of Upwork, with the world's largest network of proven independent professionals. And here's an alphabetical list of them: accountants, administrative assistants, animators. Well, you get the point. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can't believe we are where we are.
It's just every question is answered. This is what's so frustrating to me, watching all of this shift show. How is it even possible we are here? How is this possible? Especially knowing all that we know. It shouldn't be.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
After 25 years of building websites for all kinds of companies in many different industries, AmericanEagle.com realized a well-designed website is also your best employee, bringing efficiency, revenue, production, showing up every day, giving above and beyond to increase your bottom line. That's what a website designed, developed, and hosted by AmericanEagle.com has brought to so many clients. An AmericanEagle.com website is a 24/7 branding exercise, building rapport and thus brand equity while you sleep. Companies like WeatherTech have relied on AmericanEagle.com's website design and development and hosting capabilities for years. When some of the world's top brands need a reliable company to prepare their sites for high-traffic events, who do they call? AmericanEagle.com. Their clients have come to rely on them for a full line of website services, from consulting and strategy to digital marketing, hosting, and maintenance. Give the team at AmericanEagle.com a call today. 1-877-WEB-NOW. The number 1 is the number. AmericanEagle.com is the website. 1-877-WEB-NOW1 is the number.
Staples has a huge selection of printers at low prices. This week, all HP printers are on sale with savings up to $150. Staples, there's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 2/29/20 while supplies last. See store staples.com/HP Week for details. Staples.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
6:07 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Eisenhower traffic is stop and go from 390 to Addison Road, where there's a collision. 2 left lanes are blocked there. We're also seeing some heavy traffic approaching downtown starting around Damon's. We're looking at 40 minutes from 390 to Burn Circle. Outbound right now, 5 to 28. Edens is okay. Kennedy still looking good. It's getting a little congested inbound around Cumberland. Inbound Stevenson delays start before Cicero. 34 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown with scattered delays. I-57 still good. Ford, 20 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Tollways are fine, no problems to report in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Steve Williams.
A winter weather advisory this evening. Clouds and breezy today. Some snow and rain becoming all snow. Little or no accumulation. High 40. Snow tonight 1 to 2 inches. Low 28. And then clouds, breezy and chilly. Some snow tomorrow. High 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare, 35 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Every Saturday morning at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So markets took a hammering yesterday on coronavirus hysteria. And more worried about a market pandemic or a global one. 312-642, a global health one. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Dow down 1,000 points, as you undoubtedly know. President Trump, no doubt, will address that at this presser he's holding in India at present. China, the world has changed since the SARS epidemic from 17 years ago, and the Wall Street Journal notes in its editorial. China now accounts for a third of global trade. That's about 10 times more than during the SARS epidemic. About 20% of exports from South Korea, Vietnam, and Japan also as a percentage of global trade. Many manufacturers have shifting their production out of China in recent years amid trade uncertainty and rising labor costs. But China remains a linchpin in business supply chains, even though some of these other Far East countries have picked up some of the slack. UAW union officials also say a shortage of Chinese auto parts could reduce the output at GM factories in the U.S. this year. So there's an economic impact that is being felt, including fomented by those in part, I think, who think that the market is due for a correction, and they're looking for any reason to get out, and yesterday provided one.
Well, did you get out? I talked to my guy yesterday, and I decided to stay in, but the thing is I don't think our government's telling the truth. Do you know how many confirmed cases we have now in the United States?
Like 55 or something?
53.
Mm-hmm.
19 new confirmed cases over the weekend. And small, tiny towns, there's one in Northern California, is fighting because they want to have a quarantine center out of this old senior living center, and they don't want to bring that to their towns. And everything is, we are so reliant on Chinese-made goods that, yes, wedding dresses, auto parts, things you can't even imagine that are made in China are not being shipped. They're sitting on cargo ships right now, just waiting idly, because this virus lives on items, surfaces, possible clothing, we don't know, for at least 9 days. So I don't know when things are going to get better, if they ever are going to get better, or is this going to be our new normal? Yes, I'm an alarmist.
New normal? You mean forever and ever? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, the Chinese are stepping up their intervention to try to stop the spread. Chinese official beat 2 poodles to death with an iron rod over fears that the poodles would spread the coronavirus. So that those poodle deaths are on your hands.
Wait, when did that happen? Over the weekend?
Reporting yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
2 poodles beaten to death with iron rods. So, that's a start.
Well, what are you going to do when they come to your door to take your temperature? Are you going to open the door, Dan, when the government comes? I mean, I got tested for coronavirus while I was at Northwestern Memorial. I had to spend a weekend at the hospital, and they didn't ask me. They just came in, a guy in a hazmat suit. I thought I was having a morphine drip reaction, and swabbed my nose, under my arm, and somewhere else, and said, well, our records show that you've been out of the country 3 times in 2 months, so we're checking you for COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Came back negative, just so you know.
Trump administration's sending a $2.5 billion supplemental budget request to Congress for funding to fight the coronavirus. And the administration has been on the case since the beginning with quarantines, rescue flights for Americans, briefing from public health officials and disease experts. But, there's only so much that you can do. This is not inconsistent, though. We've been here before. Just so people understand that this is not the beginning of history. It was just a little over a decade ago, the U.S. Senate passed and sent a bill to President George W. Bush's desk, providing $3.8 billion in funding for pandemic influenza preparedness, as well as a controversial liability shield for those who produce and administer drugs and vaccines used in a declared public health emergency. That was part of the fiscal year 2006 defense spending bill passed by the Senate at the time. Global health challenges are not new. America's preparedness is always something that's going to be tested, and it's being tested now. But I think proportionality is still the order of the day. Proportionality still the order of the day.
The government's just telling us what we want to hear.
Which government?
Our government. I don't think those are the real numbers. I think there's more than 53.
And based on what? Your intuition?
Yes. And the fact that they're trying to open up these quarantine centers in small, tiny towns, rural areas, that causes me great pause.
That's preparedness, I would say. I don't
want to be separated from my children. I have to be honest. If one of my kids goes, I'm going with them.
Okay.
The government is going to come and start taking people away, Dan, and take them to remote locations for quarantine periods.
Have you been reading George Orwell again?
No, I'm not. I'm telling you it's coming.
Many of the people who are infected don't have severe illnesses or even show symptoms at all. That's the case for many people who've already tested positive, which was why
they're carriers?
Which was why the virus is difficult to stop. But it also reminds you about the lethality or the threat level of the virus. So it could be difficult to stop. There's no question. But again, proportionality in response here. One Harvard epidemiologist, Mark Lipsitch, who is suggesting that he believes the virus will not be containable, and that within a year will infect somewhere between 40 and 70% of humanity. That's what he thinks. But he also says, even in that situation, again, many people are asymptomatic, will not have severe illnesses, will essentially go about their daily lives. He says the Atlantic reports there's an emerging consensus the outbreak will eventually morph into a new seasonal disease, which could one day turn the cold and flu season into the cold, flu, and COVID-19 season. Possibly. But distinguish between the three. Can you? Randy in Lake Geneva, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to side with Dan here, Amy, because, out of the 26,000 people in China that died, and the
26,000? No. 26,000.
That's the point.
No, wait.
2,600.
2,000.
2,600 people died, okay? And there's 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
That's 0.0084%. Very low. I don't know if that's one way of looking at it.
Thanks for the call, Randy.
Well, President Trump said there's nothing to worry about. Remember, he tweeted last month that President Xi's got this under control. No, he doesn't. And that warmer weather is allegedly going to kill the virus.
Well, that does have, we don't know, but that is rooted in science that the warmer weather does retard the spread.
Yeah, but it's in Vietnam. It's in all countries that have warm weather right now. Mm-hmm. That I don't think it's going to matter. Here's President
and President Trump's job as President of the United States is to convey calm and control. It is not to feed hysteria. So his posture is the proper posture while requesting funding for enhanced preparedness.
And here is our fine leader. Just spoke in India.
You may ask about the coronavirus, which is, very well under control in our country. We have very few people with it, and the people that have it are, in all cases, I have not heard anything other. Maybe there's something new, because for 2 days I haven't been seeing too much of that news, of very much news, because it's been very all-encompassing. We've accomplished a lot here. We had a lot of meetings, as you know. But the people are getting better. They're all getting better. We brought in some Americans from a ship because it was really the right thing to do, and they're in quarantine. And we think they'll be in very good shape very, very soon.
Scott Gottlieb, who is a former FDA head and a medical doctor, points out one of the problems with getting more people tested is that is the FDA. Hospitals could advance these tests as laboratory development tests, LDTs, meaning they develop them in-house. But since HHS declared a public health emergency related to coronavirus, hospitals are now expected to get FDA permission to use their own tests. So that's slowing down the testing and the identification. Following the public health emergency, HHS is expected to issue a declaration justifying emergency use authorization to facilitate development of diagnostics and therapeutics for coronavirus. He argues that we need to expand screening capability. The CDC lab that is currently sanctioned to run all these tests is taking 36 to 48 hours to turn these results around. They would be quickly overwhelmed in a full-blown outbreak. He continues, we should expand triggers for screening to detect outbreaks early. Anyone with atypical viral pneumonia where multiplex respiratory viral panel is negative should probably be checked for coronavirus, not just those returning from China, but we don't have the screening capacity right now. So CDC and FDA, part of this discussion should be CDC and FDA removing some of the roadblocks for the distribution of diagnostic testing or the use of hospitals to do their own laboratory developed testing at the local level to aid in the quickness of
right now it's
of
only
the identification.
LA, Chicago, and New York.
Yeah, but that's CDC testing. They're
right.
doing sample testing in 5 major cities. What he's saying is at the local community hospital level.
I do have a little bit of good news. A company called Moderna, a biotech company located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, claims that they have a vaccine to combat the disease, and they just sent it to federal health investigators for more testing and said it could be out by end of April, which is unheard of turnaround time, but that's something good. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Quick 3 points about this. 2,600 people died in China. Well, 2 or 3 times that were shot in Chicago last year, and no one wants to do anything about Kim Fox. That's a bigger health problem. Second of all, I think this is all a scare. They're trying to push this Medicare for all. They're trying to help out Bernie. And I think it's ironic the Chinese used to eat pets, and now the pets are giving them a deadly disease.
Thanks for the
Well, they
call,
eat
Mike.
wild game.
Well, there's a question.
We have to pay for the sins of people in China who eat goose and cobras and bat soup.
Yeah, well, there's some question
Ridiculous.
about that we discussed yesterday, whether it actually was transmitted from one of those seafood markets as so advertised by the Chinese. In point of fact, it turns out snakes do not transmit the disease. And some of the other animals that were mentioned in that market were not actually in that market. And so this goes back to whether or not the virus escaped from the biotech lab in Wuhan. So what we think we know to be true and what we can confirm to be true, 2 very different things. Candace in Mount Pleasant.
Amy inspired me to hashtag coronavirus, and when I did, what I saw was Chinese officials welding people into their high rises on top of bolting them into their units Nobody allowed on the street, and if you did, they either shot you. And one day I saw them go out and shoot people point blank who didn't have masks on or looked very ill. I saw them beating dogs, not just one kind of dog, all kinds of dogs on the street, which is heinous. Something is going on, because why, if this is just like the influenza, why are doctors who are treating it dying, young doctors who have amazing immune systems, and why are Chinese billionaires saying, no, 2,600 is a lie, it's thousands and thousands of people, and they're cremating them so quickly?
The machine's running 24/7.
I'm sorry.
But wait, one other thing. India already said it's biowarfare because it's spliced with parts of HIV, and I'm sure Trump is hearing the truth from India officials. They're not going to hear it from CDC. And also the timing, I agree with Mike. The timing is so suspect. And Tom Cotton already said it wasn't from the market.
He raised the issue of the lab, and other people have as well. Tom Cotton wasn't the first or hardly the only. Thanks for the call, Candace. Yes. Should we believe China's official statements? No. Not on this, not on anything. So what's new? Oh, the same people that are running concentration camps for Uyghur Muslims, the same people that persecuted the Falun Gong, oh, they're not so concerned about the lives of their citizens. They're more concerned about their political power. Oh, boy, breaking news. Of course. What does that have to do with what we should be doing, other than not believing the Chinese? Is that a justification for panic? No. Tony in Downers Grove.
Hey, Dan, a few things. First, I know there's why Dan can't date. I mean, why Dan is still single.
Yes.
We need this section, why Amy can't date. She'll need more than a minute, though, for each section that she does.
Okay.
Here's my
you think
question,
I'm
Dan.
crazy?
Nah, I don't think you're crazy. You're just a little
off.
I don't.
That's you know what? That's nice.
It's okay though.
Is
You'd
it?
be
Yeah.
fun
No,
to date,
I
I'm sure.
can handle it. That's all right. I know that I'm crazy, but at least I'll be prepared.
So China is the behemoth of exporting goods.
Yeah.
And so nobody talks about, well, why don't we take steps to curtail that? But if this does turn into a pandemic and the world markets are hurt, how Dan, explain to me how this helps Bernie Sanders. I'm hearing that this could help Bernie Sanders. So if the world economy is in the tank, Bernie's going to get elected to resurrect the economy. I'm not grasping.
Well, we
that.
didn't say that here, but
Well, that's an argument that's being made.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been made by Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro and many others.
Well, President Trump has based the success of his presidency off the stock market, and yesterday it tanked.
Well,
and I mean, hopefully it'll go back. I don't want any of this to happen, but it's happening, and hopefully it'll go up today. Who knows?
My point is, though, it's not Trump's fault that the coronavirus would be a worldwide pandemic. So it's not any of his policies that did this.
Thanks for the call, Tony. Yeah, no. Okay. One, Trump is not basing his reelection off the stock market performance. He's basing it on the overall robustness of the American economy, including the historically low unemployment and wage growth and so many other positive things. Supply chains moving back onshore and so on and so forth. Number two, yes, the conspiracy theories. This was this was coordinated between somebody and somebody to tank the U.S. economy to elevate Bernie Sanders. I don't know what Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson are talking about, but or Candace and Mount Pleasant for that matter. I don't buy conspiracy theories. It's nonsense. Yes, there's a very simple argument to be made, isn't there? Oh, I'm sorry. So the coronavirus is resulting in a slowdown of world economic growth. And so you want here in America to elevate somebody who would model America after the Chinese model of governance. That's the way that you address the spread of the coronavirus and protect the American economy or maintain its growth trajectory. That makes no sense. It's idiotic. And it doesn't take somebody steeped in logic to follow that thread. So the idea that coronavirus tanks the economy, it tanks Trump's presidency, and it's just 1 + 1 = 2, no. Those are people doing 1 + 1 = 3. Frank in Arlington Heights.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. All the stuff that's been said today about China beating people or killing people and all that, bolting people into their buildings. It brings up a good question. Should we really rely upon a country like that as our supply chain? And is there any value in what President Trump has basically argued for, although not specifically this, in autarky, the idea of self-sufficiency? The linchpin of our supply chain used to be our own towns, used to be those 70,000 factories that were offshored. So maybe we need to become more nationalistic in terms of our economic policy and actually do some of the things that he was talking about in the campaign.
No, that would
he could actually campaign on.
Now that's a recipe for actually slowing down the U.S. economy. We are not going to be Fortress America. We are not going to eschew global trade, nor should we. There's a concept called comparative advantage.
I'm well aware of comparative advantage.
I know you are because you're a teacher, so you should know better than to suggest that we can be completely self-sufficient. Autarky, come on.
Business investment is more important than the exports that we have. Yes, absolutely. We used to be a great industrial power. We are no longer.
We are. How are we not a great industrial power? We're the leading manufacturer.
Economy, Dan.
We're the leading.
Yes, we are. We have a lot of jobs.
Excuse me,
fast food restaurants.
Frank.
That's what we have.
Frank.
We have a lot of jobs.
Frank.
Other
yes.
Lower wage, non-manufacturing jobs. That's what we have. That's what we've done.
That is not true. That is
absolutely. It is.
Thanks for the call, Frank. It is not. Yes, are there new service sectors that have been created in financial services and elsewhere over the last 30 years? Of course. You know what the median wage, the median household income, adjusted for inflation of the last 40 years, has increased by 20%. And a lot of those goods that are not otherwise regulated by the government have declined in price because, competition and innovation reduces the cost of goods that have substitutes, like, say, consumer electronics. So it's increased American purchasing power as well. And that's in part because of trading partners, global trade, comparative advantage. Oh, by the way, we are the number one manufacturer in the world. We have the largest economy in the world. This mau-mauing of America, suggesting we don't make anything anymore, is not true. The economy has changed over time, yes. The distribution of jobs has changed over time, yes. But if you talk to manufacturers, even in Chicagoland, they will lament the number of six-figure jobs that they can't fill. Tom in Deer Park.
Wow, Dan, nice job. Way to bat him down. But the reason I called, Amy, I think you're on something. The government knocking on the door, taking people away. That's been done before. This is a dry run for the Bernie administration.
Yeah,
so
no
keep
kidding.
your head up and stay healthy.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
I'll keep taking my balance of nature. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Michael Petrelli, president of the Thomas B. Fordham Institute, about how we're miseducating teachers to educate our young people. That's at 6:36.
And later, Bernie Sanders doubling down on his love for Castro. But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
At 6:31, it's 37. A lakeshore flood warning kicks in later today. A winter storm watch has been canceled for a good chunk of the Chicagoland area, but a winter weather advisory is in effect later today. Stock futures are up a day after the Dow's worst loss in 2 years. Dow and S&P futures both up about 0.25%. NASDAQ futures up nearly 0.5%. Joe Biden holding a narrow lead ahead of this Saturday's South Carolina Democrat presidential primary. It's from a new NBC Marist poll. That is showing the former vice president with 27% support, Bernie Sanders at 23%. Last night, South Carolina Representative James Clyburn was asked who would win Saturday's presidential primary in South Carolina.
If we were having the election tomorrow, that Joe Biden would have more of the vote. How much more? I don't know yet.
A new poll indicates that Texas is a do-or-die state for Mike Bloomberg in the March 3rd Super Tuesday primary. A survey by the University of Houston Hobby School of Public Affairs says it looks like the billionaire may only capture one of the state's 228 delegates. Harvey Weinstein's lawyers say they plan to appeal after the former movie exec was convicted of rape and committing a criminal sexual act. Defense attorney Arthur Aidala says he feels the evidence brought against his client was weak.
Not a doubt in my mind, if his name was Harvey Jones or Harold Jones, he would not have even been charged on this evidence. And I don't say that in a very cavalier way. I started interning at this office 30 years ago. I'm a former prosecutor. I'm a defense attorney.
Jurors in New York City found Weinstein guilty of raping an aspiring actress in a hotel room in 2013 and forcing oral sex on a production assistant in 2007. Former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak has died. He died Tuesday at a hospital in Cairo. He was 91. It's National Pancake Day at IHOP today and many other places, with free food and millions being forked over for children's charities. A woman is dead after she was shot trying to fight off someone breaking into an apartment on Chicago's North Side. It happened last night as a friend was answering the door in the 4400 block of North Francisco. When the woman and her friend tried to shove that door shut, the woman was shot trying to close that door by a masked intruder. A 15-year-old boy is in critical condition following a shooting on the far south side. Police say the teen was walking last night near 113th and Aberdeen. The boy was hospitalized at Christ Hospital, and that incident is under investigation. Fighting Illini avoid the upset special and knock off Nebraska in Big Ten hoops 71-59 in Champaign. The News is a service of Indeed.com. As a hiring manager, you need to quickly find the best candidates for your open positions. Tools from Indeed like Skills Test will help the candidates really show you what they can do. You'll save so much time, you can take the scenic route home. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire today. 6:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Rod Blagojevich, commutation. Did Donald Trump do the right thing?
Steve Cortez.
He was engaged in political horse trading. That, to me, is clear. I don't think there was anything illegal going on in those tapes. It certainly appeared that something illegal was going to happen, okay? I believe he wanted to accept a bribe. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't the feds allow that to happen?
The Steve Cortez Show, weeknights at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye, and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting LIKE to 350-350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for as little as $220 per eye. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 laser eye surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago.
What's that text again?
Text LIKE to 350-350. That's LIKE to 350-350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Hi, this is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. Is the lack of having enough money in the bank holding you back from buying a home? The state of Illinois is helping first-time home buyers with this issue with a program you can only get through a limited number of lenders that's hand-picked by the state, and I'm one of those preferred lenders. This program is a grant up to $10,000 to help you with your down payment and also cover closing costs. Stop paying your landlord's mortgage and get on the path to buying your own home. Since this is a grant program, funding can run out at any time, so call now and reach out to me personally. Just pick up the phone and call 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN to reach me personally, or visit me on the web at windmortgage.com. That's windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
6:37. time to check the Punchki Day traffic in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Eisenhower traffic is jammed from before Irving Park to Addison Road. There's a multi-vehicle wreck. 2 left lanes are blocked. We're looking at about 50 minutes from 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Edens, you've got about a 2-minute delay approaching the junction. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Canfield. 29 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. Inbound Stevenson, traffic's heavy first from 83 to Joliet Road near the Tri-State. More delays kick in at Central, looking at 39 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Minus 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopport, 26. The stall at Cottage Grove in the center lane. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy, breezy, bit of snow and rain. For the afternoon, becoming all snow later tonight, high 40 and a low of 28. Currently 37. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
Welcome to radio's unchallenged authority on wealth, prestige, and success. It's another edition of Public Sector Pension Millionaire.
Yeah, let's spin the list that I have here of 17,000 Illinois government pensions that exceed $100,000 a year. That's like net present value, $3 million plus pensions.
Oh, must be nice.
Here we go.
Okay,
Tell me where to
ready?
stop.
And stop.
All right, how many lines down?
I want 10, please.
10 lines down. Let's see
And
here.
introduce me to, is it a sugar mama or a sugar daddy?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Please meet pension millionaire Daniel Cullen. Daniel Cullen is retired from Northfield Township High School District 225. Okay. Retired at the tender age of 55.
Wow.
His annual pension is $124,000. His lifetime contribution to that pension, $145,000.
Oh my gosh.
He has received so far $1.7 million in pension benefits from the generous taxpayers of Illinois. His lifetime payout, expected lifetime payout, $3.3 million. $145,000 in, $3.3 million out, guarantee. That's 4.4% of what he expects to get out. That's what he put in. And
must be nice.
That's a perfect segue. We love it here because we have we're not in the business of educating children at the K through 12 level, with very few exceptions. What we have here are K through 12 school districts masquerading as schools when in actuality they're just third-party administrators to confer benefits and salaries and benefits to the adults in the system. We have adult-centered education in Illinois. It's about salaries and benefits. It's not about putting kids on a path to a successful life. And that's a perfect segue to our next guest. Michael Petrelli is the president of the Thomas B. Fordham Institute. He's a research fellow at Stanford's Hoover Institution, executive director of Education Next, and he has written a new book, or he's edited a new book with Chester Finn, who's also at Fordham, How to Educate an American, the Conservative Vision for Tomorrow's Schools. Michael Petrelli, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's great to be with you.
So the conservative vision for tomorrow's schools, it seems to me we need to pick up where what we were just talking about. It's nice to have a vision about what should be taught in schools and have a curriculum, but then you have to get past the gatekeepers, meaning the administrators and the teachers. If we're not properly selecting and training administrators and teachers, then all the best ideas in the world never make it to the classroom. And it seems to me that's where so many, particularly urban school districts, but not limited to urban school districts, have failed.
Yeah, and wow, those were some eye-popping numbers. Certainly, it's well known nationally that Illinois is a mess when it comes to education and to that pension problem. but wow, that is dramatic.
Yes.
But yes, look, there's been an effort to reform our schools going back at least 3 decades. And there's been some progress here and there. There is some greater accountability than there used to be, believe it or not. And certainly there's some sectors that are doing quite well, like the charter school sector in Chicago, where the schools are getting dramatically better results than the traditional public schools. And there's evidence that they're helping some of the nearby public schools improve as well. But there's still a lot of big problems. And lately it feels like education reform has gotten stuck. Partly that's because of all of the political fighting and the polarization. So this book was a chance to ask some super smart conservative writers and thinkers to tell us where should we go next on education, and they gave us some really interesting answers.
Well, but before we get to some of those scholars that are share their offerings in your book, you have scholars at the Fordham Institute that had a good piece that I saw the other day, Training Teachers to Fail, and they talk about how student interest and choice in their education is prioritized over high-quality education. Teachers are taught to be passive and subservient may be too strong a word, but it's not that far off when it comes to what's going on in their classroom.
Yeah, look, the education schools have been a problem forever, and they still seem to be just bringing new teachers through a system where they're not being taught the very basic aspects of how to be an effective teacher. I mean, you'd think that would be their role. Instead, they want to talk about philosophy. They want to talk about progressivism. So you've got elementary school teachers, for example, that go through some of these ed schools and come out the other side not being taught the science on how most kids learn to read. We actually know quite a lot about how to teach kids to read. Not surprisingly, we have this English language that's phonetic, and you've got to teach kids how to decode the language. And there's elementary school teachers coming out of these ed schools that don't know this, that are being taught to have kids guess at words, that looking for context clues, things that have been discredited for 30 years. It's real snake oil kinds of stuff.
And sometimes
it's a huge part of the problem.
Yeah, and we correspond a lot with teachers now via email, and they don't have command of the English language when they're writing. Not only spelling errors, but grammatical errors, run-on sentences. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and look, there are a lot of great teachers out there, and they are heroes. They wake up every day, and they are helping our young people develop in the ways that we need them to. They're for example, holding the line on grades. We have a recent study that came out showing that, not surprisingly, kids learn more from teachers who are tough graders. But there's no incentive for teachers to be tough graders today. You're just going to catch flack from some parents and from the principals, and yet those teachers do it because they believe in high standards. And then they've got colleagues, as you say, who are, don't come close to meeting high standards, who yet have lifetime employment and these incredible pensions in the system. I can't imagine how angry it must be to be an excellent teacher who works hard and who is willing to do what it takes for kids, and to see, their colleagues next door who are just cashing it in.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I can't imagine it because a lot of teachers are writing about it, just nobody's listening to them. There was a good piece last month by Elizabeth Emery, who actually lives here in Chicago now. She was teaching in Utah, in Salt Lake City, and she quit after teaching only one full semester, not because of salary, not because of pension and health care benefits, but because she couldn't do what she got into teaching to do, which is instill a love of learning into children, which is to command her classroom, because she doesn't get support from administrators. She's undermined by parents and then the administrators who cater to the parents at her expense, the lack of ability to institute discipline in the classroom. It was all workplace environmental factors that are easily changed with proper leadership. It had nothing to do with what is the central focus of our discussions about education, which is dollars and cents.
Yeah, that's right. And look, that is one focus of this book, as we talk about the challenge around discipline today, that there is this movement to try to say to schools, it is not okay to discipline kids. But somehow if you discipline kids, especially if you give a kid a suspension because they've hurt another child, that they've done something that's really over the line, somehow that can be racist, that's classist, and so instead what we should do is have kids sit around in a circle and talk about their feelings and do restorative justice. I mean, and it's the teachers, again, who are on the front lines and who now have these classes that are out of control. They've got no way to handle these classrooms, and we wonder why there's so much frustration.
So in your book, as you mentioned, you've got a number of essays from a wide gamut of scholars and deep thinkers who are not necessarily scholars in an academic setting. The successful models around the country that should be replicated and scaled. Give us some examples.
Yeah, well, so a couple themes that come out of the book. I mean, one is that we're just not doing a good enough job when it comes to teaching our history to young people. Either we're not teaching it at all, which is unfortunately the case when you look at a lot of elementary schools. We're just saying, well, we're going to leave history and science and those other subjects till later. And so you go into a, say, second grade classroom, and it's just completely vacuous and boring. And instead of teaching our heroes and the George Washingtons and Abraham Lincolns and Harriet Tubmans, they're not learning anything. And then as you get older, what we see, if we do see any teaching of history, is it tends to be coming from a very leftward bias. We talk about the 1619 Project coming out of the New York Times, this new effort that's now a curriculum that's basically trying to teach not only about slavery and the key role that played in our history, which of course it did, and it was a horrific institution, but that it explains everything about our history, that America is racist to its core. And this is now the curriculum that schools are using in many schools across the country. And in this book, what we try to say is, look, by all means, we need to teach our history in a way that is critical. We don't want to propagandize to kids and pretend that everything in our history has been perfect. But so it should be warts and all, but it shouldn't only be the warts. We also need to tell a story to the kids that is factual and that talks about the great successes that we've seen overcoming many of those challenges. That this has been a country that has very lofty ideals. We have struggled to live up to those ideals at times, but there's been amazing Americans throughout the centuries who have fought to better live up to those ideals. But that is not what's being taught in many places. Instead, the teaching is all about how America is horrible.
Well, right, but so it seems to me that the political left is a lot better at pushing their agenda than the intellectually honest are in getting legitimate scholarship into K through 12 systems, and this is what has to change. I mean, again, I said we have all the good ideas, you have all the facts and the context that's important to a full understanding of history or any other subject, but if it doesn't get to the classroom, it doesn't matter. So Wilford McClay, a professor down in Oklahoma, has a new book called Land of Hope, a new history book that he's trying to get into schools. You've got the 1776 Unites, a group of academics and activists that are responding to 1619, and they've published 12 essays as their first offering in response to 1619, and also the alternative complete history of Black Americans in America. So where's the infrastructure to carry some of the good work that is being produced that should be part of curriculum into these actual school districts?
That's right. Well, here's some good news: is that the infrastructure is the local school board. And so, look, we've been critical over the years at Fordham of local school boards because of all the reasons that you started this segment with. They have often agreed to these ridiculous benefits and pension packages and not been minding the store. However, the good news is they are the ones that make decisions like what gets taught in the schools, what kind of history books are used in the schools. And so, for your listeners, find out what's happening in your own local school district. Are they teaching the 1619 Project or the 1776 Project? What is the textbook that's being used in American history? That you can find out. You can show up at a school board meeting, and you can have some real influence on that.
He is Michael Petrilli. He's the president of the Thomas B. Fordham Institute, research fellow at Stanford's Hoover Institution, executive editor of Education Next. The book, How to Educate an American, The Conservative Vision for Tomorrow's Schools, that he edited along with Chester Finn, a longtime education reformer, and essays from a broad, as I said, cross-section of conservative thinkers and academics. Definitely worth checking out. Michael Petrilli, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Investors hoping for a market rebound today. The TSA grounds the Chinese app TikTok. We'll have the latest economic reports. Those stories next. In a recent survey, investors shared what they felt were the greatest threats to their retirement. It's no surprise the most common threats include stock market volatility, economic uncertainty, conflict in the Middle East, the 2020 presidential impeachment, and election. Unfortunately, there are many threats beyond your control that can affect your retirement savings. At Goldco, a leader in precious metals, the team believes one way to protect your investment portfolio is with physical gold and silver. Goldco has helped thousands of investors safeguard their retirement, especially in times of uncertainty. In fact, if you call 855-971-2006, Goldco will send you a free 1-ounce silver American Eagle coin. And all you have to do is pay for shipping and handling. No obligation. 100% free. Call 855-971-2006 to get your free silver American Eagle coin. That's 855-971-2006. Investors are hoping for a better day on Wall Street today after yesterday's huge sell-off on concerns about the worsening coronavirus pandemic. On the economic calendar today, the Conference Board issuing its latest index of consumer confidence. Many economists expect the highest reading since August because of the continued strength of the job market under President Trump. The Pentagon adopting new ethical principles as it prepares to accelerate its use of artificial intelligence. The principles call for people to exercise appropriate levels of judgment and care when using AI systems. That seems like the least they could do. The TSA says its workers can no longer use the China-owned video app TikTok to make social media posts for the TSA. The United States has launched a national security review of the Chinese app used by millions of American teens and young adults. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
So maybe you have missing teeth and you're thinking about dental implants. There's a lot to consider: safety, quality, price, and more. Make a call today and get your questions answered. It's Implant Tuesday. It's your reminder to make the call and get the information. Dr. Neruzzi and his staff at Fox River Periodontics are waiting to take your call from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. Call 630-232-7400. Make the call and get the info to make a good decision. Dr. Neruzzi and his staff will tell you the truth about the procedure and everything you need to know, like the quality of the implant, what you should consider to make it a great experience. It's Implant Tuesday. Call 630-232-7400. Considered a trusted local practice for the Western Burbs and all of Chicagoland, Fox River Periodontics is in Geneva. 630-232-7400 is the number, or you can chat with them online at implants4me.com.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. NMLS ID 128231. Equal housing lender. Not licensed in all states including New York. Offer not available in Washington. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions.
You see it on TV every day. Global turmoil. But these international events help keep interest rates low and may even drive them lower. In response, we at Cash Call Mortgage have lowered our interest rates for the new year. And that's great news for homeowners. If you have a current rate above 2.99%, call us to see how much you can save. If you qualify, we'll even pay your closing costs. And we can close your refi in as fast as 20 days with no upfront deposit. With our low interest rates and no closing costs if you qualify, there's never been a better time to lock in a low rate before it's gone. For a free quote, go to cashcallmortgage.com or call 800-990-6947. That's 800-990-6947. 800-990-6947.
Own a business? Don't want to take care of that server? Well, you don't have to with the help from Turnkey IT. Serverless networks help you save money, increase productivity, and minimize the headaches by not having to purchase or maintain a local server in your building. Unleash your business from having a server. You'll continue to have all the tools you rely on with Microsoft 365, including Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, and more. Chat call, also using Microsoft Teams. And with Turnkey IT, each user gets a terabyte of storage with all the files and folders stored, backed up, and ready to be shared securely within your organization. Turnkey IT is just like you, a locally owned business that understands the needs of other local businesses. They specialize in working with businesses that employ 5 to 200 employees. So leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on what's important. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Speak Out, Illinois. Did you know that Illinois has the most extreme pro-abortion laws in the country? That the land of Lincoln is now an abortion destination?
Speak Out.
Did you know that an unborn child has no rights in Illinois?
Speak Out.
Did you know your tax dollars are paying for abortions in Illinois? And our state mandates insurance coverage for abortions.
Speak Out.
Now our legislators want to repeal parental notification for abortion for our teenage daughters.
Speak Out.
Speak Out Illinois is a coalition of citizens fighting to protect life while supporting safe, compassionate alternatives to abortion. Join the fight for life at Speak Out Illinois' annual conference on Saturday, February 29th at the Drury Lane in Oak Brook. Visit speakoutillinois.org. That's speakoutillinois.org.
Speak Out.
After 25 years of building websites for all kinds of companies in many different industries, AmericanEagle.com realized a well-designed website is also your best employee, bringing efficiency, revenue, production, showing up every day, giving above and beyond to increase your bottom line. That's what a website designed, developed, and hosted by AmericanEagle.com has brought to so many clients. An AmericanEagle.com website is a 24/7 branding exercise, building rapport and thus brand equity while you sleep. Companies like WeatherTech have relied on AmericanEagle.com's website design and development and hosting capabilities for years. When some of the world's top brands need a reliable company to prepare their sites for high-traffic events, who do they call? AmericanEagle.com. Their clients have come to rely on them for a full line of website services, from consulting and strategy to digital marketing, hosting, and maintenance. Give the team at AmericanEagle.com a call today. 1-877-WEB-NOW. The number 1 is the number. AmericanEagle.com is the website. 1-877-WEB-NOW1 is the number.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 7:07, we'll talk to Andy Brack down in Charleston, South Carolina. He's a columnist and newspaper publisher down there. We'll preview the South Carolina primary and also find out what kind of chance Joe Biden has in that Senate race he's running in South Carolina.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following this morning. The winter weather is fizzling just a bit for the greater Chicagoland area, but northwest Indiana getting ready for up to 6 inches of snow. A bicycle is stabbed on the 606 trail. In Chicago sports, the Fighting Illini knock off Nebraska, and the Blackhawks make some moves before the trade deadline. WIND, Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Nobody briefed him on Russia trying to meddle again in the 2020 campaign. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump just said at a news conference in India.
And now I find out, if I believe what I read in some of your documents and some of your papers, that it was highly exaggerated. And frankly, I think it's disgraceful.
And he blames Democrat Adam Schiff, chair of the House Intel Committee, for leaking the info that Russia supposedly wants a Trump re-election. Now, the president also expanded on a late-night tweet critical of Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor and further accusing Republican-appointed justices of a Trump bias, and Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg for calling him a faker.
And I just don't know how they can not recuse themselves for anything having to do with Trump or Trump-related.
Now, the president also brought up the coronavirus.
I think that whole situation will start working out. A lot of talent, a lot of brain power is being put behind it.
He is requesting Congress give $2.5 billion in new funding, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi calls it overdue and completely inadequate. The day after the Dow plunged 1,000 points over coronavirus fears. Now, stock market futures are rising, even as more cases are reported beyond China, nearly 1,000 in South Korea, and there are other countries. Fox's Simon Owen has more live.
Dave, Spanish authorities putting a hotel in the Canary Islands in quarantine. Some 1,000 tourists are said to have been prevented from leaving after a guest tested positive for the virus. That guest comes from northern Italy, the epicenter of Europe's first major outbreak. Meanwhile, Iran announcing new infections, including the head of the government task force charged with tackling the virus. Iran counting 15 deaths, more than any country apart from China. Dave.
Simon, former Egyptian leader Hosni Mubarak has died 9 years after he was ousted from power in massive pro-democracy protests in the Arab Spring. He was then jailed and convicted of corruption. Freed in 2017, Mubarak was 91 when he died today. America's listening to Fox News.
In Chicago, 37 degrees. That's 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A woman is dead, shot while trying to fight off someone breaking into her apartment on Chicago's North Side. Chicago police tell us it happened last night in the 4400 block of North Francisco Avenue. Someone wearing all black tried to force his way into the apartment. A woman and a friend were trying to close that door when the masked intruder shot the victim in the chest. She was pronounced dead at the scene. A man is accused of killing his elderly grandmother in northwest Indiana. Charles Trumbull's charged with murder in the death of Dixie Trumbull. The 91-year-old victim was found dead Sunday with head trauma in their home in Portage, Indiana. Jesse Smollett maintaining he didn't do it, didn't lie about being the victim of a racist and homophobic attack last year in Chicago. The former actor pleaded not guilty yesterday to new charges brought by a special prosecutor.
Previously, he did forfeit his bond in the amount of $10,000. That, in essence, was a punishment stemming from the criminal proceedings, and therefore trying to punish him again a second time around is not permitted under the double jeopardy clause.
The defense also filed a motion with the Illinois Supreme Court asking the indictment be thrown out over claims the special prosecutor was improperly appointed. A bicyclist in stable condition after being stabbed on the 606 trail on Chicago's northwest side. No one is in custody. Ayu Dosunmu, a game-high 18, fighting Illini. A win over Nebraska in Big Ten hoops, 71-59. Blackhawks make two main deals before the NHL trade line. The big one, acquiring backup goaltender Malcolm Subban and defenseman Slava Demon, and a second-round pick in the 2020 NHL draft from Las Vegas. To complete that trade, the Blackhawks sent goaltender Robin Lehner to Toronto. The news service of Staples Print and Marketing Services, giving you a kickstart with custom color marketing materials. Save 25% when you order 2 or more signs, posters, or banners. Ends $229.20. Must order 2 or more of the same item for discount. See store or staples.com/print25 Staples. 7:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher can break down the Bloomberg campaign.
No one's going to vote for Mike Bloomberg based on his ideas because he doesn't have any. He's got one. He wants to take your guns away. He's anti-gun. That much we know. And he's big nanny, big government, typical liberal. The government knows better than you do how much salt you can eat and how big your big gulps can be. He's all into that. But other than that, he doesn't have any core beliefs.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter. The smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer
by using discount code CHICAGO.
Now some better news brought to you by Canada Dry. Traffic's the worst, so grab a can of Canada Dry Ginger Ale and imagine instead you're gently floating through the cosmos on a soft, comfy recliner. Next time, relax with the real ginger taste of Canada Dry.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
7:07, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and Jim Talamonte.
In Schiller Park, Irving Park Road is closed between 25th Avenue and Old River Road due to a major incident involving a pedestrian. The inbound Eisenhower is stuffed up from before 390 to Addison Road. The multi-vehicle wreck, 2 left lanes are blocked. We're looking at about 50 minutes from 390 to downtown. This has the northbound Veterans Memorial. Delays from the Army Trail toll to 290. The Gaydens runs 21 minutes like Cook to the Junction. The Kennedy, 35 minutes O'Hare to downtown, quicker the Express. The Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive is 46 minutes. The Ryan, 25 minutes from 95th. I-57, 21 minutes. ID to the Verge, Bishopport, 25. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Winter weather advisory in effect from 6 p.m. this evening to 6 p.m. Wednesday. Lakeshore flood warning in effect until 3 p.m. Wednesday. Cloudy and breezy this afternoon with a bit of snow with little or no accumulation, high 40. I'm Cheryl Golden on AM 560, The Answer.
36 at O'Hare, 35 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and we broke the story earlier in the show, and I don't know if they're going to have time to remove his name from the ballot, but Joe Biden has dropped out of the presidential race. He's running for U.S. Senate in South Carolina.
South Carolina, though, was your fireball.
You said it, my fire.
As the Nevada.
We got to effort. Hold
You're
on.
the ones that sent Barack Obama the presidency, and I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay? That's all I've really got to say to you. I'm about...
He did say, though, if you don't like me, look at the other Biden.
That's what it sounded like you
Yeah.
said. I don't know if there's another Biden running. Maybe Jill is going to take his place in the presidential race while he runs for U.S. Senate against Lindsey Graham.
Well, at least he knew what state he was in. But, yeah, he announced that he was running for a different office. Anybody try and correct him out there?
Yeah, well, I think everything is. Oh, you know what he meant.
Right.
Well, okay, boy, that's a.
You can only say that so many times.
When you say also out loud, "I'm running for U.S. Senate," doesn't something trigger in your mind to say, "Wait a second, no, I'm not." It's one thing to misspeak and then quickly correct yourself because you're actually listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, their campaign's getting desperate because I'm on his email blasts. And this morning, come on, man, give me $5. That's what they're soliciting right now.
All right, dude. And Bernie is sticking with Fidel.
Yeah, last night we had the CNN town hall and doubled down on his comments.
There was a lot of folks in Cuba at that point who are literate. And he formed a literacy brigade. You may remember.
Brigade is a good word.
And they help people learn to read and write. You know what? I think teaching people to read and write is a good thing. And by the way, all of those Congress people that you mentioned just so happen to be supporting other candidates, just accidentally, no doubt.
Yeah, the literacy death squad. Brigade. Here's the thing with respect to Bolshevik Bernie's invented history of Cuba. Before 1959, when Castro deposed Batista, 80% of Cuba could read. Yeah. So the island was well ahead of its Latin American neighbors in literacy. In the ensuing 6 decades, many of those neighbors have moved to near universal literacy as well, and they did so without death squads.
Well, Mayor Pete took the stage after him.
As a Democrat, I don't want to be explaining why our nominee is encouraging people to look on the bright side of the Castro regime when we're going into the election of our lives. Of course, literacy is a good thing, but why are we spotlighting the literacy programs of a brutal dictator instead of being unambiguous in our condemnation about the way he has treated his own people?
Unfortunately for Mannequin Pete, Bernie Sanders has been his hero from a young age. We have the Mannequin Pete essays lauding Bernie Sanders when he was, coming up as the prodigy that he is alleged to be. And so Bernie Sanders had been making those comments about the Soviets and the Nicaraguans, the Sandinistas, and Castro for a generation or two before Pete was
Out of diapers.
Yeah, but exactly. A glint in his father's eye. But it was the occasion for the Bloomberg camp to have some fun with trying to get hashtag Bernie on despots to go viral. What did they do? They gave some other suggested offerings for Bernie's reviews of dictators. Stalin spurred industrial production throughout the country, but all everyone wants to talk about it is putting 14 million people in gulags. Ugh, so annoying. Bernie on despots. Who am I to question Kim Jong-un for starving millions of his own people when he opened a kick-ass water park with over 10 slides, a lazy river, and a wave machine? What a blast. Vladimir Putin is willing to poison anyone who disagrees with him, but have you seen how that guy looks without a shirt? Delish. Bernie on despots. For more on what tonight's debate may hold, and if only Bloomberg could deliver some of those lines in a debate setting rather than having his campaign have to tweet them out, it could be interesting. Tonight's debate, Saturday's primary in South Carolina, first in the South. We're pleased to be joined by Andy Brack, political columnist and publisher of the Charleston City paper. I love Charleston, South Carolina. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, it's 60 degrees here and raining, not 36.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Okay, there you go, bragging again.
Charleston is
It's a gorgeous town.
That is right under.
Well, not today.
Well,
it's raining
right.
on CBS and CNN, but
Well, that's
so good.
you can't have every day can't be, but that is my other than Naples where I have a place. If I was going to move somewhere, it'd be Charleston. I love that place. Anyway, I digress. You don't need to know about my future travel
I like the
plans.
softer side of Dan Prof. This is nice.
It's just a great city, and it's also the home of Garden and Gun magazine, which I'm a big fan of. Yeah.
Really?
I know a lot about Charleston.
Garden and Gun, just so you know, Garden and Gun's owner is my partner here at the City Paper.
Oh, really?
So we're all just incestuous down here, as everybody probably figures anyway.
That's great. Okay, good to know. Very good. Well, so let's start with Bloomberg, and I just wonder. I know he's not on the ballot, but he will be on the debate stage, and I wonder if, with the seeming air of inevitability of Bernie right now as the nominee, if you're hearing,
I disagree. Go ahead.
Okay, but if you're hearing from South Carolina Democrats that chatter about Bloomberg or chatter about somebody else as the candidate we need to coalesce around to try to stop that.
Yeah. Well, what I hope Bloomberg does tonight is recite some of the billboards he's been showing all over the country, like Donald Trump cheats at golf. I think that's hilarious. I think they've got a really good sense of humor, and I hope that they keep it up because this has been such a dull campaign in general that we need somebody to inject some humor into it. And humor would be, I think in South Carolina, if anybody thinks Sanders is going to win, he'll get the 20 to 25% that he gets in lots of places. I don't buy the national media line that Sanders is ascendant and Sanders is definitely going to be the nominee in this, that, and the other. I think if you look at the 3 states where there already have been early voting, you've got about 600,000 people who have participated. And in the 2008 primary here, you had about 540,000 people in South Carolina. South Carolina is a diverse state that reflects most of the rest of America, and I think that it's going to be a bellwether right before Super Tuesday, and there's not going to be really much more of a chance for the candidates to speak to people before Super Tuesday than tonight's debate.
Right.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I don't know if y'all know there's while y'all are poking fun at our Senate candidate, Joe Biden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which, listen, I used to work for a senator. They say that so many times, he's probably just says it in his sleep, too. So he got a little confused. But, there's a new poll out that gives him a little bit more space. It came out yesterday, said he had 36% to Sanders' 21%. And the difference in that poll was that Steyer rocketed down to 8%. So, Steyer has spent $16 million in South Carolina. I mean, you couldn't get away from him on TV for a long time. And I think now that Biden's come into the state and is doing a lot of politicking, and he's got his own TV out there, people are kind of evaluating now, do you go with Biden as the moderate? Do you go with Steyer, who's the spoiler? And Sanders just isn't a popular guy here. I mean, you guys got to remember, South Carolina has the lowest unionization rate in the country. So there's not a lot of little socialists running around here in South Carolina.
Well, what about the African American vote? Are they going for Sanders or for Biden? Or for Tom Steyer?
I tend to think that they're probably split, but they tend to go more for Biden because Biden has been in South Carolina a lot. A lot of people in Chicago probably don't realize that Joe Biden was the eulogist at the funeral of Republican Strom Thurmond and Democrat Fritz Hollings. I mean, so he's been here a lot of times. He's got a lot of old, good relationships. The news here is that Congressman Jim Clyburn, who's the number 3 in the U.S. House and is from South Carolina, there's a big expectation that he's going to endorse Biden tomorrow. And in the African-American community, that kind of endorsement's a big deal. Biden's got more than 100 endorsements from preachers and lawmakers. So, we're kind of a more traditional state, and the Democrats here aren't pinkos. I mean, the Democrats are not going to be are not the Democrats in South Carolina aren't going to be thrilled by some of this stuff that came out on 60 Minutes about Cuba. So, I mean, I don't think that's an incentive to vote for Bernie. Like I said, he'll probably get his 20 to 25%. But I think that Biden will get a little bit of a bounce out of South Carolina, which is not what the national media want to write about. They want to write about Bernie, 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 Bernie.
Well, I mean,
and I have to tell you, I'm tired of old men yelling at me. So,
and you mentioned Clyburn, and he was one of the first to express reservations after the Nevada caucus victory by Sanders about Sanders at the top of the ticket. So that certainly stands to reason. The problem that Joe Biden has past South Carolina is that how he presents on the trail, as per that clip. You mentioned Fritz Hollings and Strom Thurmond. There are people that think he has about the same mental acuity as those two do at this point.
Well, both of them have no mental acuity. They're dead.
Right, I understand. That's sort of my point. Yes. Dead on his feet is. I mean, if you look past South Carolina to Super Tuesday, it's one thing to talk about Nevada and Iowa and New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders is leading in Texas. It's close, but he's leading. Yeah. He's right there neck and neck with Bloomberg in Florida. So in the big Super Tuesday states, I mean, Bernie's right there.
He could be. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I just don't think that it's all. If you read, I've had reporters from other countries in the office this week because everybody seems to want to visit, and they keep talking about Bernie, and they keep thinking that it's over. And I just think that we're a long way from over, and it's going to be a huge mess over the next few months.
Do you think tonight's will be the last debate for Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg?
No. I think people, I mean, I would not be surprised if Klobuchar, well, I mean, they're all going to stay in until Super Tuesday to find out what happens because it's only 4 days from, the Saturday primary. But you got to think that Warren and Klobuchar may drop out. Who knows with Mayor Pete? I haven't figured out some of these personalities yet because they're like these Energizer bunnies. They just keep going and going and going.
With respect to South Carolina, just going on the other side for a minute, one, Graham's reelection, two, Haley in 2024. Your thoughts?
Well, I wrote a column this past weekend that I've put Lindsey Graham on the mute button for the next 6 months because I'm tired of hearing the sycophantic behavior. So I think most folks here assume he's going to get reelected. I think that it'll probably be closer than you think. The Democrat Jamie Harrison, if I had to guess right now and make a bet, I'd say he gets 48% and Graham gets 52% or something like that. It's really hard in South Carolina to get that extra 2 or 3% to put you over the 50% hump. So, Graham's done a lot of things to make sure that the Republican base is not mad at him, because they were mad about 3 or 4 years ago.
Right. And
they were talking about, primarying him. That won't happen now. And so you just got to figure out, is his base going to be enough to beat an African-American Democratic challenger? And traditionally it should be, but, odder things have happened.
Well, would you
So we'll just have to see.
just on that comment about his sycophantic behavior, on again, off again, I would add, but Tim Scott's been a loyalist to President Trump. Has he been a sycophant too?
I would say so, but,
Okay.
I'm nothing but a liberal pinko. So,
Well, you said there are no pinkos in Charleston.
I was kidding.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Anyway,
Yeah, go ahead. All right.
But, Tim Scott also said in the CBS News last night that Bernie Sanders was Trump's greatest threat. I think that just keeps the party line going. I mean, but anyway, as far as Nikki Haley goes, she's been awful quiet lately. She put her foot in her mouth a couple of times recently. But we'll just have to see. 2024 is a real long time to be out of public office.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And out of the collective conscious of the political world. So, she got out of the Trump administration unscathed and with a lot of plaudits and everything. But, it's just a long time to wait. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. She also, apparently bought a house on Kiowa, and she's on Boeing's board and some other things. So, she's making a little bit of money. So maybe she'll end up being in corporate America instead of political America.
He is Andy Brack. He's political columnist and publisher of the Charleston City paper. And wait, are you also involved in Garden and Gun or just your partner?
No, he's just my partner.
Oh, okay. All right.
Gosh, that'd be a fun thing to do, wouldn't it?
I was going to give you credit for that. Yeah. All right. Very good.
No. I'll take it, but I didn't do it. No, I just have an alternative weekly newspaper.
Very good. Andy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
This is what Flo from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
And basic motorcycle policies start at just $75 a year. I know, right? Do you think I say I know, right, too often? I do. I know, right? I have to stop, don't I? I know.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
I know.
Yeah, even our commercials are better on a bike. Progressive keeps you on yours. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, you hear people talking about it all the time. Viruses, the cold, the flu, people who have it. And don't get me started about the coronavirus. And how we can all stay healthy this year. You have to boost your immune system, get enough sleep, and eat healthy. And that means getting enough fruits and veggies in your diet, which you have to admit you aren't doing on your own. And that's where Balance of Nature comes in. Just 6 capsules of Balance of Nature a day. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. It helps if you have leg cramps. I know I used to wake up in the middle of the night with severe leg cramps. That doesn't happen anymore because there's potassium in those. And it's really just a good way to take care of yourself. Here's what you do. Make 2020 a year of better health for yourself. And right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. So start your journey to a better health today by calling 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or simply go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
The auto show is here, and that means the lowest prices of the year at Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream. Saving you money, real money, as in thousands of dollars, is what we're all about. If you're ready for a new or certified pre-owned used vehicle, now is the time to come into Joe Cotton Ford. Our auto show specials will prove that to you. Like 0% for 66 months on select 2020 Explorers plus $4,500 rebate. Or 0% for 72 months on 2019 F-150s. Or 0% for 66 months on 2020 Escapes plus $2,500 rebate. Come see why we're Chicagoland's best Ford buying experience. It's our promise to you. We'll treat you great and save you money. From 3 generations of our family to yours, for 45 years, you have our word on it. At Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com.
To qualified buyers plus tax, title, license, and dealer fees through 2/28/20. See dealer for details. joecottonford.com.
The American economy remains strong, both business owners and employees enjoying the benefits. Here at AM 560, we want to celebrate businesses that are thriving. Are you, business owners, part of this great American success story? If so, we want to hear from you. Once again, we're taking our show on the road, and we'll be broadcasting from Chicagoland businesses enjoying success as they serve their customers and clients through the hard work of their employees. We want to hear your story, share your success, and find out what makes your business run. It is our signature bank business tour. To submit your business for consideration, just go to bankbusinesstour.com. That's bankbusinesstour.com. And we might be broadcasting from your location in the near future.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, speaking of Pinkos, Arielle Scarcella is sick of them. She's sick of the Pinkos that she otherwise has been associating with these many years.
Yeah, she's gone. Bye-bye.
Here's her video announcing her departure from the woke left.
Hi, I'm Arielle. I'm a lesbian, and I don't think gender is a social construct. I don't think cis straight white men are evil. I don't believe that genital preferences are transphobic or that there are 97 genders. I don't think that male sex offenders belong in women's prisons. I don't think it's normal for people to be praised for walking around with shirts that say kill TERFs. I don't think like these people, and I no longer want to be associated with them. I've reached peak LGBT. This is my coming out video. Never in my life have I been more canceled, tortured, tormented, harassed than by members of my own community. Never have I witnessed literal mentally ill individuals who are latching themselves onto the LGBT community without actually being LGBT for the sake of oppression points, external validation, and sympathy. Never have I seen such disrespect from younger LGBT people to the older lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender advocates who have been paving the way for us for longer than we've all been alive. Never have I seen people that use the word bigot so frequently and not see the hypocrisy and irony in themselves saying it. Some of you have noticed this change coming onto my channel within the past 2 years as I've gotten what some people would say more conservative. And yeah, I have, haven't I? Since the queer movement right now is obsessed with all these different labels, and I am a fan of labels, I wanted to share a new label of mine with you. I'm coming out. I am officially leaving the left. We've become so obsessed with validating everybody. How did we not see this coming? This community has become so ridiculously intolerant while preaching love that for the first time in a decade, LGBT acceptance is down. Anyone who goes against the grain and thinks for themselves is immediately outcast. That's not a community, that's a hive mind cult. Once again, my name is Arielle. I'm a lesbian YouTuber. I've been making content on this platform for 10 years, and I no longer want to be associated with the ridiculously woke left.
Red Rover, come on over, Arielle. By the way, do you know what a TERF is? You gotta know the nomenclature and the acronyms. Do I have to?
Come on, I'm an old lady. Yeah.
Especially in Lakeview with all those peahat wearers. You know what a TERF is?
What's a TERF?
Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome for that. And thank you, Arielle.
Yeah, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Paul Bryan, a former automotive industry analyst, about how COVID-19 is disrupting the automotive industry at 7:37.
And later, 1 in 30 people do what in the shower? We'll explain. But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Outside 36 degrees at 7:31. Lakeshore flood warning kicks in around 3 p.m. Winter storm watch for the greater Chicago area has been canceled, replaced by a winter weather advisory. The heavy snow pushing south and eastward, so northwest Indiana is expected to pick up to 6 inches of snow or more beginning later on tonight. U.S. and South Korea are looking at rolling back military training drills because of coronavirus. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper saying training may be toned down. Meantime, the president is wrapping up his first official visit to India, holding a solo news conference this morning where he touched on a number of issues, including his search for a new director of national intelligence.
We're talking to 5 different people right now. I think all people that you know, all people that you respect, and I'll make a decision probably over the next week to 2 weeks. We have some very good people.
Overseas this morning, former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak has died. He died in a hospital in Cairo. He came to power following the assassination of then-President Anwar Sadat in 1981. Mubarak himself survived 6 assassination attempts. Disgraced former movie producer Harvey Weinstein wakes up in a New York City hospital this morning, a day after he was found guilty of rape and sex assault. Weinstein overnight complained of chest pain. Stock futures are up a day after the Dow's worst loss in 2 years. A woman is dead, shot while trying to fight off someone breaking into her apartment on Chicago's north side. Police continue to investigate. A 15-year-old is in critical condition following a shooting on the far south side. It happened last night near 113th and Aberdeen. Chicago sports found the Fighting Illini with another Big Ten win, this one over Nebraska, 71-59. The news service of Staples, with a huge selection of printers at low prices. This week, all HP printers are on sale with savings up to $150. Staples, there's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 2/29/20 while supplies last. See store or staples.com/HP week for details. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Rod Blagojevich, commutation. Did Donald Trump do the right thing?
Steve Cortez.
He was engaged in political horse trade. That to me is clear. I don't think there was anything illegal going on in those tapes. It certainly appeared that something illegal was going to happen, okay? I believe he wanted to accept a bribe. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't the feds allow that to happen?
The Steve Cortez Show. Weeknights at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other major medical carriers. If you're 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. In Chicago, the least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $570 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,150 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $480 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $5,650 in total out-of-pocket cost per person with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649. or go to freeirsbook.com.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
7:36 in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, Jim Telemonte.
A crash on the inbound Eisenhower-Addison Road has things all backed up with delays on southbound 53 starting around Beesterfield. Delays on eastbound 390 starting at Beecham. And on the northbound Veterans Memorial from before the Army Trail toll, this wreck at Addison Road still has 2 left lanes blocked. We're looking at about 54 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound 35. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction. Kennedy 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 20 from Montrose, 18 on the Express. Stevenson 49 minutes, 3:55 from the drive. Ryan 24 minutes from 95th. I-57 24 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 425. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy and breezy today. Bit of rain and snow by the afternoon, a high near 40. Currently 36 at O'Hare, 35 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump, press conference in India this morning, addressed the state of play with America's preparedness for the spread of COVID-19, even as he requested yesterday supplemental funding to the tune of $2.5 billion for that preparedness. One of the other things he needs to do, per former FDA director under Trump, Scott Gottlieb, remove the bottlenecks at CDC and FDA when it comes to laboratory design tests at hospitals around the country so they can do some of their own testing to identify persons infected and not just have everything funneled through the centralized bureaucracy of the CDC with 36 to 48 hour turnaround.
You may ask about the coronavirus, which is very well under control in our country. We have very few people with it, and the people that have it are, in all cases, I have not heard anything other. Maybe there's something new, because for 2 days I haven't been seeing too much of that news, of very much news, because it's been very all-encompassing. We've accomplished a lot here. We had a lot of meetings, as you know. But the people are getting better. They're all getting better. We brought in some Americans from a ship because it was really the right thing to do, and they're in quarantine. And we think they'll be in very good shape very, very soon.
And health care experts suggesting we're still sort of in the 2 to 4 week period of critical period in terms of the potential of it being spread, even as we've seen it spread now to South Korea
and we have 53
Vietnam
cases
and Italy.
here in the United States. So that jumped by 19 over the weekend.
It was all
but most of
related
those
to
people
that ship.
were that cruise ship,
Yeah.
which they should have never quarantined them on there anyway. But.
Dr. Peter Hotez, writing at Fox News, talks about other things that we can do, things that we can learn from the Chinese experience, like first and foremost, protect healthcare workers when it comes to the treatment of those who may be infected or who turn out to be infected. Also, of course, vulnerable people, more susceptible to serious consequences from a flu-like virus than younger, healthier people. Obvious stuff. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Paul Bryan, freelance journalist and automotive industry analyst, host of the His Turn, Her Turn automotive series. Paul, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning to you. Hey, Amy.
Hello.
So Wall Street Journal was reporting that UAW, United Auto Workers, say a shortage of Chinese auto parts could reduce the output at GM factories in the United States. So part of this is looking at the economic impact after the hemorrhaging in the markets yesterday, and give us your sense from your understanding of that industry of how impactful COVID-19 may be if it persists?
Well, it's affecting everybody right now. I think that people need to have a better feel for how the auto industry puts cars together these days. Ford Motor Company, for instance, or GM or whoever it might be, they don't stockpile all of their parts in a big warehouse outside the plant, and as they need them, they draw them out of that warehouse. Everybody uses what's called just-in-time delivery. So they're counting on supply chains to come in from their suppliers. Many of them are Chinese at this point for, just about everything that goes into a car. So much of it comes from China that the ability, you can't build 99% of a car. You have to have all of it there, and it has to come in on normal schedules. And so everybody's production schedules are getting disrupted, and it's being seen as being disrupted rather even more. I understand also that I'm not the alarmist that some.
Yes, you can say me.
Yes. We know what an alarmist sounds like. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but so what? You've got GM. They have a factory in Wuhan, China, and that doesn't seem to be opening anytime soon. So what do you do?
No, they don't, and it's not just in China either. Many of you know that I spent time 3 years in Italy working for Alfa Romeo, and when I talk to my friends over in Milan and in Torino, where Fiat is based, everybody's really nervous over there. They have restricted travel in many of the parts. I saw some video of Milan last night, and down on the Piazza La Scala and in the main downtown in the Piazza del Duomo, where it would normally be teeming with people, it was a total ghost town. And so people are being advised not to go to work. Some are just nervous about going to work. The Fiat plants are talking about coming back online next week, but we'll see. Now,
wait a second. Wait. I got to ask you a Fiat question here. So we're talking.
Sure.
Did you get to meet Gianni Agnelli?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Many times.
Really?
Yeah.
So so I just watched recently a documentary.
I never wore my watch on the outside of my cuff, but yeah, many times.
Well, he's sure he set the style. So I just watched a documentary about him. I think it was on HBO, but anyway. So his presence. Sorry to go off on this tangent, but this is cool. And Fiat and Agnelli was a monster in the automotive industry.
He was huge force.
Tell us about that. Tell us about working for Alfa Romeo, working for Agnelli, and meeting him, and what that time was like in the auto industry.
The first time I met him was 1989 at the Geneva Motor Show, and he had people around him, but this was a new program for Alfa Romeo coming into IndyCar racing. And so, he wanted to meet people who were involved in that. So I was introduced to him, and then we wound up having dinner on the Fiat, what was called the Fiat Party Boat at that point at the Geneva Motor Show.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was a huge boat, Dan. It had to be 250 feet long.
Oh,
and the first time I went there, my mentor said, "This boat has everything but a priest for confession." So that was the first time that I met him. I found him to be incredibly engaging. He's one of those people, from an American standpoint or equivalent. I think of Roger Penske when I think of having that kind of presence. When Penske enters a room, he owns the room. And Yali was the same way. And it didn't matter at Geneva if president of any other car company would be there.
And the centrality of Fiat in Italy, Italy's politics as well as its economy.
Yeah. Well, many people credit him, and I think properly so, with the rebuilding of the North post-war and reestablishing Fiat as a manufacturing force in that area. The Milanese and the Torinese are, God, they hold him in higher esteem than they hold many saints. He was a cool guy. He was just a cool guy.
That's like meeting Henry Ford. I mean, that's real. I mean, it really is. It's just fascinating to talk to somebody that had that type of interaction with him. Okay, now we can get back to the alarmism.
Well, yeah, because now you mentioned the Geneva Motor Show. Because of the coronavirus, is a possibility it'll be canceled and other auto shows?
There's talk about that. I mean, they've already postponed the Beijing Auto Show, which was coming up here shortly, for obvious reasons. For as many people as they would be pumping through that thing, and for as many people as they don't want touching other people or putting themselves in the position of getting infected. So that went on postponement. They've also postponed the Chinese Grand Prix in Formula One for the same reason. Now we're looking to Geneva because, Geneva's just a couple-hour drive from Milan. So there is rumbling talking about that. I know that there are companies that have canceled media trips and media reveals that were going to be done at Geneva that are not going to be done now. And everybody has to err on the side of caution on this thing, and I think that's what's really feeding the frenzy that's going on right now.
What about what if any evasive action are the big American auto companies taking, in addition to canceling trips and the err on the side of caution, as you're saying, but in terms of the evasive action they're taking here to keep production going, to keep things moving? I mean, that you can't let this stop the wheels from turning.
Some of them are chartering airplanes to get stuff out, and I don't know how long that's going to last, that the American government is going to say, well, look, if you're hauling this stuff in from a place that we don't want it coming in from, how that's going to go. Let me see. It's Jaguar Land Rover is now owned in India, but Volvo, for instance, is owned by Chinese at this point. They've got a big plant over there. There's a fair number of plants. Hyundai, last night I got a note from a friend who said that Hyundai was planning a global reveal in a couple of weeks in South Korea, and that's been put on indefinite hold as well. And I think that's a car that we're going to be in someplace, Banga, someplace where they were going to show us that car in a couple of weeks. So we may get the global reveal on that rather than being done in South Korea. But they've got a lot of travel restrictions within the Korean car companies, within Hyundai and Kia in particular, where they've said, no, sit down. We're not flying people in. We're not flying people out. We're just holding fast for right now, and let's see what plays out.
You think this is this has all been engineered by Elon Musk to make everybody buy Teslas?
He's got a coronavirus, Dan.
Yeah.
He'd be an interesting thing if the cars weren't such dreck.
The subsidies help. Yeah.
Boy, do they. And that's the thing that has to happen with that brand and with all electric vehicles right now. We see so much action around electric vehicles right now. And you say to yourself, why? You've got less than 2% of the market that's asking for them. So it seems like it's far more agenda-driven than it's demand-driven. And as long as we're in a demand, the other thing to remember, too, in this whole slowdown that we're seeing in the automotive sector, and yesterday, I think almost across the board, it was like about a 5.5%, 6% drop as a sector with this big sell-off that we saw in the Dow yesterday. But automotive demand is a little bit different. Demand is not destroyed. It's just delayed. Mm-hmm. And there are ways to do end around moves on that as well. In China, China is down 90% on their their car deliveries for the month of February so far, and 50% for the past 3 months. I guess they're in a pretty challenging market right now overall.
Yeah.
Even before this happened.
Well, that's why there some projections are they're going to see a 10% GDP drop in Q1.
It's the second largest economy in the world. I mean,
He is Paul Bryan. He is a Gianni Agnelli protege, freelance journalist, industry analyst of the automotive industry, host of His Turn, Her Turn automotive series. Paul, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you again.
thanks.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
ASAR America is seeking a lead software developer in Naperville to convert project specs to flowcharts, work on reports, enhancements, conversion programs, SAP script and smart forms, user exits, and migrating data to SAP. Develop and evaluate data, determine solutions and make recommendations, troubleshoot and correct module problems, ensure integration of business processes, prepare documentation including specifications, test conditions, plans, and data, defining technical systems maintenance and future functionality, modify system screens, train users, define authorization roles. MS in computer science, software engineering, IT, or a related field or foreign equivalent. Will accept BS or foreign equivalent with 5 years of related IT experience in lieu of educational requirements. Will accept any suitable condition of education, training, or experience. Frequent travel and relocation may be required. Send resume to HR Director, ASAR America Incorporated, 55 Schumann Boulevard, Suite 178, Naperville, Illinois, 60563. Equal Opportunity Employer.
After 25 years of building websites for all kinds of companies in many different industries, AmericanEagle.com realized a well-designed website is also your best employee, bringing efficiency, revenue, production, showing up every day, giving above and beyond to increase your bottom line. That's what a website designed, developed, and hosted by AmericanEagle.com has brought to so many clients. An AmericanEagle.com website is a 24/7 branding exercise, building rapport and thus brand equity while you sleep. Companies like WeatherTech have relied on AmericanEagle.com's website design and development and hosting capabilities for years. When some of the world's top brands need a reliable company to prepare their sites for high-traffic events, who do they call? AmericanEagle.com. Their clients have come to rely on them for a full line of website services, from consulting and strategy to digital marketing, hosting, and maintenance. Give the team at AmericanEagle.com a call today. 1-877-WEB-NOW. The number 1 is the number. AmericanEagle.com is the website. 1-877-WEB-NOW1 is the number.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I started taking the Balance of Nature, and I was actually lifting weights at the time, and I pulled out my rotor cuff, and I couldn't lift my arm. I had to take off from lifting weights I really feel completely different. My hair feels better. My skin feels better. Overall, everything's better.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com, and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
We're all aware of national dealers that sell gold and silver. But national dealers? It sounds so impersonal and far away. Guess what? Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is a national dealer, and they're right here in our backyard. With Fox Valley Coins close by, you won't have to relinquish your personal information and money through the mail and hope that you receive what you ordered in the next days, weeks, or months. Most of the time at Fox Valley Coins, you just walk in the store, pick out what you want, pay for it, and walk out the door. It can be that easy. And if you're interested in selling your rare collector coins or currency, Fox Valley Coins specialize in the rare ones. Buying and selling individual coins and currency, as well as all gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium in coin, bar, and scrap form. They'll even make house calls when appropriate. Fox Valley Coins is one light north of I-88 on Route 59 in Naperville. They're closed on Sundays and have been dealing with integrity since 1981. Check out foxvalleycoins.com. That's foxvalleycoins.com.
Hey, AM 560 wants to give you a brand new 43-inch 4K Samsung LED TV just in time for the NCAA basketball tournament, start of the baseball season, or maybe you just want to binge your favorite show on Netflix. No matter what you're watching, it'll look great on this brand new TV. But to win, you need to enter at 560theanswer.com. That's 560theanswer.com. Contest ends February 28th, so enter today.
We live in a world driven by information where we hear about data privacy concerns and high-profile data breaches nearly every week. Organizations constantly face new information governance obligations like GDPR and the California Consumer Privacy Act. Take control of your documents and data with Governance Rules as a Service from IDT and Highland on Base. Now, with the help of IDT and Highland on Base, you can achieve both compliance and peace of mind by subscribing to the industry's leading retention, privacy, and data compliance platform, Governance Rules as a Service. It's backed by an international network of law firms across 150-plus jurisdictions and will help your organization adhere to the latest information governance rules from around the world. Automate electronic document management, retention, disposition, and document destruction, and reduce unnecessary exposure to data breaches, avoiding costly fines while saving on information storage costs.
Set up a consultation today. Visit ready4idt.com. That's ready, the number 4, IDT.com. Or call 877-SCAN-IDT. IDT, putting paper in its place.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Welcome to Burger Palace. What would you like today?
Yes, I'd like to tell you that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
This is Burger Palace. Do you want any food?
Yes, one Palace party meal. No, Limu, they won't put insects on a burger. No, you can't talk to the manager.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
1 million questions flood your mind.
How can this be happening?
am I going to be able to work?
What's a subtype?
What do I do now?
We know.
We went through it too.
But once you start to understand your options,
You can partner with your doctor
and find ways to face MBC on your own terms.
visit findyourmbcvoice.com and learn how to speak up and have a more informed conversation with your doctor.
Some questions have answers.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com to find some of yours.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Mark Chenoweth. He's the Executive Director, General Counsel for the new Civil Liberties Alliance. And he's got a beat on some of Bloomberg's mercenaries occupying positions in state AG offices around the country. That's at 8:08.
But now let's head into the newsroom to get news from here at home and around the world. Here's the one and only Mike Scott. Mike, when are you moving back into the studio? I miss seeing your face.
As soon as they actually get things put back together. Progress has been made, however. Winter weather is fizzling out a bit for some of us, but for others, still another 6 inches of snow to the south and east. A woman shot and killed during an attempted home invasion on the north side. A bicyclist stabbed on the 606 trail in Chicago. Wisconsin State Police discover a van filled with hundreds of gallons of gasoline headed for Chicago. Illinois knocked off Nebraska in Big Ten hoops. Blackhawks are at the Blues tonight after making some moves before the trade deadline. Cloudy, breezy, a little bit of rain and snow today. WIND Chicago News Time. It's 8 o'clock.
Stocks could bounce back, partially. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Dow futures are up more than 100 points before the opening bell in a half hour, though that's just a fraction of yesterday's 1,000-point plunge over coronavirus fears. President Trump at a news conference in India is confident the U.S. has a handle on it, and he's requesting new funding from Congress.
$2.5 billion we're putting in. I see that Chuck Schumer criticized that he thought it should be more. And if I gave more, he'd say it should be less.
Referencing the Senate's Democratic leader right now, senators are getting a closed-door briefing on the coronavirus. The president also responded to an intelligence briefing that Russia is trying to meddle in 2020 and wants him reelected.
Intelligence never told me, and we have a couple of people here that would know very well, they never told me anything about that.
Now, he says he's read that intel was exaggerated, and he blamed Democrats for leaking it. The president was also critical of 2 Supreme Court justices. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump claiming Justices Ginsburg and Sotomayor are biased against him on matters involving the administration.
I just don't know how they can not recuse themselves for anything having to do with Trump or Trump-related. The right thing to do is that. Now, as a Supreme Court justice is a different standard. But at the same time, I think it's a higher standard.
The president's comments come days after Justice Sotomayor, in a dissent, wrote that the administration had made a habit of turning to the Supreme Court after losses in the lower courts. The high court, she said, was partly to blame because it has, in her words, been all too quick to grant the government's requests. Dave?
John, the next presidential debates tonight. 7 Democrats in South Carolina before Saturday's primary there. Joe Biden raised eyebrows campaigning for the wrong office.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out.
Biden has seen his lead in the polls shrink in South Carolina. Bernie Sanders, with momentum from New Hampshire and Nevada wins, is a close second. America's listening to Fox News.
In Chicago, we have 36 degrees. 8:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A woman is dead, shot, trying to fight off someone breaking into her apartment on Chicago's north side. It happened last evening. The victim was inside a second-floor apartment when someone wearing all black and a ski mask tried to force his way into the home after the victim's friend answered the door. Chicago police tell us the woman was trying to help close that door when the masked intruder shot her in the chest. She was pronounced dead at the scene. A man accused of killing his elderly mother in northwest Indiana, Charles Trumbull, is charged with murder in the death of his 91-year-old mother, the victim found Sunday with head trauma. A 15-year-old boy is in critical condition following a shooting on the far south side. The teen was walking near 113th and Aberdeen when two suspects approached and shot him in the stomach and shoulder. A bicyclist is in stable condition after being stabbed on the 606 trail on Chicago's northwest side. The attacker jumped the victim, kicked away the bicycle, then stabbed him in the right shoulder with an unknown object. Wisconsin State Police are investigating discovery of a van filled with almost 300 gallons of gasoline in 15 plastic drums. They found the drums inside a van at an Oak Creek, Wisconsin gas station. The van's rear seats have been removed to make room. Police say the suspects had used stolen credit cards to buy the gas and say the van was headed for Chicago. Fighting Illini avoid the upset, knock off Nebraska 71-59 in Big Ten college hoops in Champaign. Tonight, DePaul is at Xavier, and our Northern Illinois Huskies visit Eastern Michigan. 8:03 time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks appear to have stabilized after yesterday's ugly sell-off. China's cabinet has rolled out a new program to help small businesses hit by the coronavirus epidemic. And there's upbeat earnings news. Home Depot is reporting a better-than-expected holiday quarter. Its sales improved after about a year of disappointing numbers. Its stockholders will be receiving some more money. Home Depot is raising its quarterly dividend by 10% to $1.50 a share. And Macy's holiday quarter was stronger than forecast. Its sales declined slightly, not as much as Wall Street was predicting. Macy's saw a meaningful sales increase in the 10 shopping days before Christmas. The Cozy sandwich chain has filed for bankruptcy protection for the second time since 2016. It expects to emerge from Chapter 11. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
Larry Elder sees the Democrats taking credit for this economy.
I find it fascinating that Obama and the Democrats are taking credit for this economy. Remember what they said that Trump would do to the economy? And how many times have you heard them say that President Trump has been, quote, undoing Obama's legacy? If he's undoing Obama's legacy, how do you take credit for having undone his legacy?
The Larry Elder Show, weeknight at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
The auto show is here, and that means the lowest prices of the year at Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream. Saving you money, real money, as in thousands of dollars, is what we're all about. If you're ready for a new or certified pre-owned used vehicle, now is the time to come into Joe Cotton Ford. Our auto show specials will prove that to you. Like 0% for 66 months on select 2020 Explorers plus $4,500 rebate, or 0% for 72 months on 2019 F-150s, or 0% for 66 months on 2020 Escapes plus $2,500 rebate. Come see why we're Chicagoland's best Ford buying experience. It's our promise to you. We'll treat you great and save you money. From 3 generations of our family to yours, for 45 years, you have our word on it. At Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com.
To qualified buyers plus tax, title, license, and dealer fees through 2/28/20. See dealer for details. joecottonford.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well,
Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It is 8:07 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Jim Telemonte.
On the inbound Eisenhower, an earlier crash near Addison Road has cleared. We're looking at about 50 minutes from 390 to downtown, 35 from Wolf. Outbound, 34 minutes to 390. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction. To Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, 18 to the Express. Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive is 52 minutes. Orion, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 24 minutes, ID from the Merge, Mission 422. About tri-state delays are Plainfield Road to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to Passaic. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. If the Army Trail toll to 290, southbound 53 is heavy. Beesterfield to 390. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and Steve Williams.
A winter weather advisory this evening. Clouds and breezy today. Some snow and rain becoming all snow. Little or no accumulation. High 40. Snow tonight 1 to 2 inches. Low 28. And then clouds, breezy and chilly. Some snow tomorrow. High 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
38 at O'Hare, 35 Lakefront, flurries, and 37 at Midway, and rain in Lansing, 36. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Caesar Mike has a new ad up, taking Bernie Sanders to task, trying to stop Bernie's roll through the Democrat primary and caucuses. And he focuses on Bernie's support for guns as, you know, a rural state senator, with clips from some of his pro-Second Amendment takes from earlier on in his Senate career. In the 90s, and when he was, still getting his legs underneath him and locking in his position as United States Senator, when that was no longer in jeopardy, then of course he went to the full gun confiscation side, which is where he is now. But I mean, Bernie Sanders, once upon a time, running for U.S. Senator in Vermont, endorsed by the NRA.
Really?
Yeah, it is interesting though that Bloomberg. And it'll be interesting to see what happens on tonight's debate. Focus on Bernie Sanders' previous support for Second Amendment rights and not focus on his support for previous and current dictators.
Yeah, here he is.
It says something about the Democrat Party.
It's unbelievable.
There was a lot of folks in Cuba at that point who were illiterate. And he formed a literacy brigade. You may read that. He went out and they helped people learn to read and write. You know what? I think teaching people to read and write is a good thing. And by the way, all of those Congress people that you mentioned just so happen to be supporting other candidates, just accidentally, no doubt.
And it just so happens that 80% of Cuba was literate, could read before Castro deposed Batista. But, it's just an accident of history. Yeah. But I want to focus on Bloomberg, because Bloomberg, like Soros, has tentacles in a lot of places that reach into a lot of places in our country. We've talked about Soros funding prosecutors at the local and regional level, like, say, Kim
Kim
Fox
Fox?
in Cook County, San Francisco, Philadelphia, elsewhere, trying to advance a non-prosecution culture at the state's attorney level. Well, Bloomberg is doing something similar in advance of his various central plan gambits, like prosecuting companies to advance the climate alarmism agenda. And the way he's doing that is by financing lawyers in state attorney general's offices, which presents all sorts of potential conflicts and due process concerns. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Mark Chenoweth, who's the executive director and general counsel for New Civil Liberties Alliance and former chief of staff to one Congressman, now Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back in Chicago in a way.
Yeah. So we've, as I mentioned, the Soros and Bloomberg parallels here. Soros is focused on states' attorneys who won't prosecute criminals, and Bloomberg apparently is at least partially focused on installing lawyers in the attorney general's offices at the state level in a number of states for the express purpose of litigating based on climate change politics.
That's right, and it's important to make the distinction that this is not a matter of electoral politics. He's not entering into these AG races. He may also be doing that, but what we're talking about isn't him playing in the AG races as a contributor to those candidates. Instead, what he's done is contribute millions of dollars to set up an entity at the New York University School of Law, which is in turn funding special assistant attorney general positions in these state AG offices around the country. And these special AGs are devoted to doing nothing but prosecuting and going after companies for environmental crimes.
And so explain the due process concerns that presents. You're having somebody in a state AG's office who's privately financed versus the state attorney general who they're supposed to report to.
Sure, it's an enormous due process problem for targets of enforcement actions. The prosecutor is supposed to be disinterested. They're supposed to be interested in the public good, not just winning the case, but doing justice. And justice sometimes might mean winning, but sometimes at the end of the case, justice might mean that the person's acquitted. And the prosecutor is supposed to be disinterested in that. But here we have people whose jobs depend on finding problems in the environmental area. They don't have the option of looking around and saying, you know what, that's the situation right now is such that that's not really a priority for the office. These folks are being brought in as hammers who are looking for nothing but nails. They have an interest in the outcome of the case because their job depends on having success in these enforcement actions, and that's the very definition of bias. So that's going to affect who they decide to go after, what charges they file, what cases they file, what charges they include in those cases, what settlement kind of proposals they make, and every other aspect of the case.
And so they have, the power of the purse strings isn't with the taxpayers, isn't with the duly elected state attorney general. It's with Bloomberg and the enterprise that he's largely funding.
That's right. The power of the prosecutor is being put up for sale in a sense, and certainly when you have these outside funding streams, the state legislature is either giving up the power of the purse, or in many states, it's not so much that the legislature is giving this up, but that the state attorneys general are going outside of state law. There are ethics laws in many states that prohibit this kind of activity. There are also fiscal laws in many states that require any sort of monies or support coming into the state to go through the Treasury and be dispersed by the state legislature, and don't allow this kind of independent funding.
And so what are, I know Patrick Morrisey, who's the Attorney General in West Virginia, has commented on this practice critically. What are Republican Attorneys General doing about this arrangement?
Well, so far, none of them have taken the money. The NYU Center has offered money to both Republican and Democrat AG offices who were willing to pledge to use the money in this way to go after alleged environmental problems. None of the Republicans have taken it. About 11 Democrat state AGs have taken it, including Illinois, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course.
And so it's not a partisan problem in the sense. I mean, my organization's a nonpartisan organization. We would object whether it was Republican or Democrat AGs who are taking the money, but perhaps because it's Mike Bloomberg funding it, it's been the Democrat AGs who have taken it. But can you imagine what would happen if ExxonMobil or Koch Industries were in the business of funding state AG offices? The mainstream media would be going ballistic.
Well, and you point out, too, that one of the things it presents, not saying that this is happening, but it presents an environment where such a conflict exists, and so it prevents an opportunity for ethical breaches. So Bloomberg gets word that one of his finance prosecutors is going to go after company XYZ, so he shorts company XYZ. I mean, it's an opportunity to, not that he needs it, but to make money, or for other people to make money that are associated with sort of the funding stream that goes back to Bloomberg.
That's right. That's one of the ethics problems that's inherent here. We don't know what the particular investments are that Bloomberg has. Perhaps he just has a general investment strategy to invest in alternative energy companies, and so it's to his benefit to drive the stock prices down of companies that he may perceive to be, or whose state AGs can be harnessed into reducing the stock prices of non-alternative energy companies.
Do you think anybody, we'll bring this up in tonight's debate in South Carolina?
I don't know whether this will come up in the debate tonight. I think it's an excellent question to ask, and it's certainly, when given the ethics problem, it would be fair to ask what the investment portfolio looks like that may be benefiting from this state AG effort.
And if there is a remedy to be had, it's really a state-by-state question regarding state ethics laws. It's not there's not an obvious federal remedy to this.
I think that the federal remedy would be a lawsuit under the Due Process Clause of the U.S. Constitution. So I think anyone who finds themselves as the target of an enforcement action would certainly have standing to object on those due process grounds, as well as the ethics grounds, as well as you say, the state to state. It may vary in terms of what the fiscal statutes are in those states. And there could also be due process objections under state constitutions.
What kind of concerns do you have, just since I mentioned the parallel of George Soros and him? Now, this isn't a campaign setting, so it's different, and I'm not saying he did anything illegal, but George Soros being behind funding so many prosecutors at the state level and not really getting a lot of media scrutiny outside of some conservative outlets.
And I don't know what the strategy is there, whether it's to build up a bench of folks that can run for higher office. If that's what it is, it's more of a pure electoral play. If there is an effort there to change the prosecutorial priorities of the office, either to go after or not go after certain kinds of offenses, that's where the ethical problems would come into play.
He is Mark Chenoweth, Executive Director and General Counsel for the New Civil Liberties Alliance, former Chief of Staff to then Congressman Mike Pompeo. Mark, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate your having me.
Yep, thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Welcome to Burger Palace. What would you like today?
Yes, I'd like to tell you that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
This is Burger Palace. Do you want any food?
Yes, one Palace party meal. No, Limu, they won't put insects on a burger. No, you can't talk to the manager.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a million questions flood your mind.
How can this be happening?
Am I going to be able to work?
What's a subtype?
What do I do now?
We know.
We went through it too.
But once you start to understand your options,
you can partner with your doctor
and find ways to face MBC on your own terms.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com and learn how to speak up and have a more informed conversation with your doctor.
Some questions have answers.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com to find some of yours.
You see what I was saying about Rebecca Romaine Stamos?
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened?
We were
don't
talking
say,
about it off air.
Yeah.
Rebecca Romaine Stamos was in the latest episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And you hardly recognized her, did you? Well, some people
Aging
age
like a
different.
president. I mean, really. Wasn't this shocking?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Kelly LeBrock shocking. She didn't blow up like that, but it's not good.
Maybe she's sick?
Maybe she needed more of that Full House money. I'll tell you, John Stamos got out just in time.
Oh, you're so mean.
Picture your son after his first year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A noble young man who commits to do the right thing simply because it's the right thing. Northridge Prep builds that kind of man. At an open house on Sunday, April 5th, see for yourself what makes Northridge Prep the #1 all boys and #4 best Catholic school in Illinois, according to niche.com. My friends who send their sons to Northridge Prep rave about it. They say it challenges their sons both academically and as men of character. It's a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an independent boys' school for grades 6 through 12. Their all AP and honors curriculum produces men who think for themselves. Graduates attend the best universities, including the Ivy League. All the teachers are role models. Nearly half attended a top 20 university. So don't miss Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, April 5th. Register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
My name is David Hochberg. If you'd like to pay off debt, call Team Hochberg about a cash-out refinance. In January, Team Hochberg helped listeners convert $1.1 million of their home's equity to pay off credit cards, car loans, medical bills, collections, and judgments, which saved listeners over $41,000 a month. You struggled through last year. You have heard hundreds, if not thousands, of my ads. Your debt has not magically disappeared and is still there, and most likely it's growing. Home values are up, interest rates are down, and now is an excellent time to call to see if we can help you consolidate your debt with a cash-out refinance to substantially reduce your monthly payment. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Please pick up the phone and call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, MLS 112-4061.
All right, business owners, listen up. If you have 5 to 200 employees, Turnkey IT could have a serverless network ready for you. It'll help save money, increase productivity, minimize headaches by not having to purchase or maintain a local server in your building. You continue to have all the tools you rely on with Microsoft 365, including Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, and more. And with Turnkey IT, each user gets a terabyte of storage with all files and folders stored, backed up, and ready to be shared securely within your organization. Turnkey IT is just like you, locally owned business that understands the needs of other local businesses. So give them a call. They're offering right now a free 5-point assessment to determine if your business qualifies. It takes just minutes. So visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Our comments are Dan and Amy and Judge Smollett was in court yesterday pleading not guilty to those disorderly conduct charges.
Not guilty again. Yeah, he was back in court. He's going to be back in court too, March 18th, the day after our primary. But he just seems so bothered by all of this. I mean, what I would have loved, Dan, is if ABC, CBS, if nobody showed up to videotape him or to try to get an interview with his attorney.
Kim Fox would have loved that, too. There's a poll out, Conway's camp put out a poll that shows him within striking distance to Fox. I'm not sure I believe it, but nonetheless interesting. Also, Chicago Tribune, of course, over the weekend endorsing Donna Moore, who you had on the show when I was
yeah.
Yeah, endorsing her for state's attorney. She's not going to win either. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's no hope. Because I was thinking about pulling a Democratic ballot to try and make sure that Kim Fox doesn't win the primary.
Yeah, I mean,
one vote at a time.
There's nothing to vote for on the Republican side where you live.
No.
Is there?
No.
Nothing of note. So, yeah, I suppose.
But then I'll go on record that I pulled a
That'll be on your
Democratic,
permanent
and
record.
then you're going to bring it up.
Yeah.
And say, looky here, Mrs. Jacobson.
Right, we got an
in
enemy inside the
2020,
perimeter.
you voted on the Democratic primary.
Yeah.
Or in the Democratic primary.
Now, it's interesting, his attorney,
yes,
that
yeah, I've heard
Glandian, or whatever her name is.
Oh, yeah, with a bad boob job.
Ooh.
Oh,
Meow.
Well, you don't wear that in court.
What did
You
she
don't
wear?
let your girlfriends hang out in court. Not this time, but the first time she was, it was embarrassing. You got to cover up.
Sexist.
I don't care. She paid for it, but I don't need to see it.
Dan Webb, when he went to court, he had a low V-neck on. So fair is fair.
Suit and tie on.
Yeah.
But here's Jesse's boobly girl, whatever. What's her name?
Glandian?
Sure.
Previously, he did forfeit his bond in the amount of $10,000. That, in essence, was a punishment stemming from the criminal proceedings, and therefore trying to punish him again a second time around is not permitted under the double jeopardy clause.
It is
the double jeopardy clause. Help us out.
It is an interesting argument that she makes, because for double jeopardy not to attach, you essentially have to say that the adjudication of the case by Kim Foxx's office was not a real adjudication, it was a sham. It's like when Harry Alleman was acquitted and then tried again, the mob hitman, was tried again because a juror was bribed. So you didn't have a real case. There was never any jeopardy that he was going to be convicted because the trial had been rigged, so double jeopardy didn't attach. That's the argument the state would make, is that there was never a real adjudication of the case. Smollett was never in jeopardy, so double jeopardy didn't attach. However, and you know, Kim Foxx's recusal was insufficient. Her recusal is insufficient, okay, but why should that negatively impact the defendant? It wasn't his call, unless you can prove it was, you know, something nefarious afoot. He did forfeit $10,000 bond, so that's punishment.
And yesterday they set another bond for $20,000.
Yeah, but stay on the double jeopardy. So he forfeited his bond. So that's punishment. He also had some sort of half-assed community service he did at Rainbow Push.
Well, he was supposed to be there. I think he was ordered 20 hours of community service. And what I was told was that he met people and shook some hands and met with younger, you know, at-risk youth, and then took a nap for a few hours.
Yeah, but if the Cook County State's Attorney's Office signs off on him paying a fine and doing the requisite community service, that is an adjudication of the case. That is punishment. And you can't have it both ways. You can't say that it was a real adjudication of the case and then try him again. Or you can't say it wasn't a real adjudication of the case and not hold Kim Foxx responsible for perpetrating a fraud on the court. And I don't just mean electorally.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't like this like halfway, you know, we're going to let Kim Foxx have a pass on a sham, on a fraud, and just let her deal with the electorate on March 17th. I mean, you know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I actually think that, I mean, that is the best argument that Jussie Smollett has to make, and his attorneys have to make. I understand what they're saying. I think it's not a ridiculous case that they have, and it puts Kim Foxx and this sort of Chicago Democrat power structure in a bit of a pickle. What does Lori Lightfoot say about that? What does Dan Webb say about it? James in Westmont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, you two. Hey, Dan, just a quick correction. I know you're hardly ever wrong, but Harry Elliman, the reason why he got retried because the judge was bribed. It was a bench trial.
Oh,
not a jury.
judge bribed. Yeah, okay. Same difference.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for the call, James. Yeah, okay,
Our listeners
fine.
are so smart.
That's good. No, you know, then of course, they follow mob trials.
Exactly.
That's James
that's
from
the
Westmont's
Chicago
core,
way, yeah.
core competency. Perry and Niles.
Good morning. I got to start taking notes when I'm on hold. I call for one thing and I get like 5 ideas.
Okay. Pick one.
At-risk youths at Rainbow Push. Really? Are you sure? No, the reason I called is Michael Bloomberg. You talk about how he's a nanny stater, but nobody ever mentions that he paid for all the commercials to save Toni Preckwinkle's career when they were going to repeal her soda tax. And they had the women standing at the soda machine. I almost said an actual brand name, sorry.
That's all right.
And the choices were like fat kids, heart disease, this and that. And then at the bottom, in a fine print, it said, paid for by Michael Bloomberg. So he's not only a nanny state from where he came from, but he wants to be a nanny, I don't know what you call that. And one last thing, if you would give me a second.
What is this, Friday potpourri segment? Okay, all right. No, that's it, Perry. I want to get back to Jussie Smollett here. Hold on. I got a text from a criminal defense attorney friend of mine. You can never have too many of those. He says no. So maybe I don't remember the specifics well enough here. No jury seated, no jury waiver accepted, so no double jeopardy.
Oh.
Bond forfeitures happen regularly. The problem is, though, he never willfully did anything to forfeit his bond. So it's still an adjudication. He didn't do anything wrong that would necessitate the forfeiture. So how do you square that with saying he wasn't punished and that they didn't have a deal for the alleged crime? Yeah, I think it's a bit of a quandary here. I still think it's a bit of a quandary, but that's an interesting aspect to it. All right.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We switch gears and go back to what Perry and Niles wanted to talk about, which is national politics, with Michael Goodwin from the New York Post at 8:38.
And later saying goodbye to Kobe Bryant. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Stock futures are rising ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street. It's 8:32 on AM 560, The Answer. The Dow, along with the NASDAQ and S&P, fell more than 3% yesterday. We'll track those numbers for you in just a moment. Spokesman for Iran's health ministry says the head of the country's counter-coronavirus task force has tested positive for the virus. The UAE, meantime, banned all flights to and from Iran. Iran earlier raising the death toll from the virus to 15 killed amid 95 new infections. President Trump wrapping up his first official visit to India today.
Melania and I have been awed by the majesty of India and the exceptional kindness and generosity of the Indian people.
The president also made the argument that the coronavirus is well under control here.
Maybe there's something new, because for 2 days I haven't been seeing too much of that news, of very much news, because it's been very all-encompassing. We've accomplished a lot here. We had a lot of meetings, as you know. But the people are getting better. They're all getting better.
The president is boarding Air Force One for the return trip home. Egypt state television saying former President Hosni Mubarak, who was ousted in 2011 in the Arab Spring uprising, has died at 91. Mubarak ruled the most populous Arab country for nearly 3 decades, serving as a loyal U.S. ally against Islamic militancy, but his autocratic rule grew increasingly unpopular in later years. People familiar with the findings have told the Associated Press that an investigation into Placido Domingo by the U.S. Musical Union, representing opera performers, found more than 24 people who said they were sexually harassed or witnessed inappropriate behavior by the opera superstar. Domingo says he now accepts full responsibility for his actions and was, quote, truly sorry, end quote, for any hurt that he has caused. A woman is dead after she was shot trying to fight off someone trying to break into her apartment in Chicago's North Side. It happened last night in the 4400 block of North Francisco. And a 15-year-old remains in critical condition at this hour following a shooting on the far south side overnight at 113th and Aberdeen. The news, a service of Mucinex Night Shift. Cold or flu make you feel like a zombie? Ugh, what a nightmare. Mucinex Night Shift is ready to help. Show them how you beat the zombie funk for your chance to win $1,000 or a VIP experience. Visit beatthezombiefunk.com for details. 8:34. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants to try to understand Joe Biden.
The Democrats are in free fall. They don't know what to do. Biden is calling people lying dog-faced pony soldiers.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
What does that mean? Please, someone?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Is your company prepared for an emergency? Are your employees trained in CPR? Would they know what to do if another employee needed basic first aid, or worse yet, suffered a sudden cardiac arrest on the job? It's estimated that over 400,000 lives are lost every year in the United States to this killer. But sudden cardiac arrest is also one of the most preventable causes of death. Call Cardiac Rescue Systems today and arm yourself with the tools necessary to treat a first aid victim or prevent heart attack or cardiac arrest from needlessly taking lives. We offer great pricing on AEDs and CPR first aid training. Our certified professional trainers will come right to your business and train on site. Call Cardiac Rescue Systems today for a free quote at 630-541-5469 or check us out online at cardiacrescue.com. That's cardiacrescue.com. Cardiac Rescue Systems. Call today. Lives depend on it.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I was talking to a friend recently, and she said to me, your complexion is so good. It looks so healthy and just radiant all the time. She said to me, what did you do? I mean, the last couple of years, your skin has just been great. I thought, I don't know. And then I realized that's about how long I've been doing the Balance of Nature. And I told her that it had made enough of a difference that she was noticing it and wanted to know what caused it. So, I am super happy with it.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code Chicago.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
8:37, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and Jim Talamonte.
Eastbound I-80 traffic is heavy from past LaGrange Road to Pulaski. There's a medical emergency on the left shoulder. Tri-State Tollway southbound at Stop and Go Balmoral to the Bensonville Bridge with a crack on the shoulder. Northbound, it's heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the bridge. Northbound Veterans Memorial is a bit tight. Maple to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail Toll to 290. Eden's 18 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose. Kennedy, 43 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Eisenhower, 46 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 36 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy Montrose to North Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, little rain and snow mixed. A high near 40, 38 at O'Hare, 37 Midway, where we have had snow flurries this morning. And checking those numbers on Wall Street, the Dow up 97 in very early trading. Your next news is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, just continuing that conversation we were having about Jussie Smollett and his prosecution, or arguably re-prosecution. It could be that like a res judicata argument, the finality.
I think I had that for dinner.
Res judicata?
Res judicata. It was wonderful on the lasagna.
Yeah, did you have the broccolini with it?
Yeah, it was.
It's
was
good.
good.
That's the way you want to have it. Yeah, it complements it nicely. No, but it's the finality. Okay. So not necessarily double jeopardy. But I asked my criminal defense attorney friend about my point that how do you relitigate the case and not implicate Kim Foxx for perpetrating a fraud on the court? Or you don't relitigate the case because there was finality per the forfeiture of his bond for no particular reason, or no particular bad act other than the underlying act, and some sort of half-assed community service he did at Rainbow Push.
Sleepover. He took a little nap.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to, you can't do one without the other is my point. And his response to me, how do you adjudicate again, Smollett again, without implicating Fox? His answer was, it's Cook County. Okay.
Oh.
Well, so I mean that's
an answer.
It's a political/legal answer, but it's the reality on the ground, I suppose. All right, switching gears. This is interesting to note in advance of the South Carolina primary. And with the prospect, perhaps, of Trump versus Bolshevik Bernie matchup, more than 1/3 of black voters surveyed expressed the desire for someone else to run for president.
Wow.
Lack of enthusiasm among black voters would be a real problem for whoever the Democrat nominee is. This survey conducted by the Political Action Committee, Black PAC, reported in Politico, found that while black voters are largely supportive of the Democrat Party, aligned most with its values, more than half feel the party is not paying close enough attention to the black community. And they argue specifically something that a lot of Republicans said was happening. Democrats got too distracted by impeachment to focus on issues that actually matter to black voters. You know, their bread and butter pocketbook issues, quality of life issues. So I wonder if we'll see perhaps some of the atrophying of black enthusiasm present, not so much in the distribution of the black vote, but in the turnout on Saturday, and if that might be a bellwether for November, depending on who the nominee is. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor. Michael, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
So what about that? What about the state of play here, even if Biden is able to stave off elimination for one more election, that you've got a real problem in stitching together something that looks like a winning coalition for the Democrats?
Well, I think that's right, but I would enlarge the picture. I think that in this sense, maybe the black voters are the canary in the coal mine, because I think a lot of normal Democratic voters are feeling ignored by the party. Look, I think there's no question that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer made a huge mistake in putting all the chips on impeachment. They refused to negotiate with the president over anything serious, border control, even the budget, anything like that. And so they went down this road of radicalizing the entire party. Now, you can say that Pelosi was following AOC and the squad, or they were all sort of looking ahead and seeing, where the candidates for president were going. Nonetheless, I think they abdicated their own leadership, threw in with the radicals, and then radicalized the entire party. And this, to me, is a failure of leadership on Pelosi and Schumer's part. They are in Congress. They had a duty to work for the betterment of the country, not just throw stones at the window. But that's what they chose to do. And I think it is now hurting the entire party. The entire party sort of speaks with this one radical voice. And then you see that when you apply that window, that view of the party to the presidential candidates, none of them have this huge support. I mean, the great irony is they're all out there, Buttigieg and Klobuchar and Bloomberg, especially those three, and even Biden, attacking Sanders for not having a broad enough tent. That's true, but his tent is broader than theirs. So each of them, I think, is guilty in the same way. Don't forget, they all raised their hands for decriminalizing immigration. They all, raised their hands for higher taxes, for some version of the Green New Deal. So the difference between them is narrow. It's not a huge gulf. Even Bloomberg, whom I had higher hopes for, has thrown in with them. I mean, he's surrendered and apologized for all the good things he did as mayor, as though he wants now to be taking credit for being a good mayor, but he wants to subtract from that all the things he did that were central to what he did, which was, he talks about, I raised taxes on the rich. He did not. He raised taxes on everybody, everybody. And it was the only raised tax he could raise was through the property tax. And so it went up by 18.5% in 1 year. Now, I live in New York City, and I can tell you my property taxes have gone up 400% since Bloomberg started that. So is that a good thing when people talk about New York City becoming unaffordable? Well, the property taxes are fundamental to that problem. So my point is that each of these candidates has failed in the way they're blaming Sanders for failing for. But I think that's the problem with this whole party. It has radicalized itself. It has forgotten the middle class and the working class, which is Donald Trump's bread and butter. So this is shaping up again as Hillary 2.0 without Hillary.
And Bernie, he might be chosen to lead the party that he's never joined because he's an independent. But let's talk about Sunday's 60 Minutes interview. He couldn't come up with that. How are you going to pay for all this free stuff? And he didn't have an answer. Don't you think they'll attack him tonight and try to pinpoint him to answer that question finally?
I do. And I think that the Bloomberg people have already signaled as much that they're attacking. You know, looking back to the last debate, I mean, my assessment of it was that they were all running to be the alternative to Bernie.
Right.
So Buttigieg and Klobuchar, Warren, they're all trying. No one was trying to overtake Bernie. They were all trying to be number two, or the alternative to him. And I think it didn't work for any of them, I mean, for various reasons. Warren, everyone believes, had a good debate, but it hasn't helped her. So I think that this time they're all going to go right at Bernie instead of at each other as much. And so I think that you
as if this field cares about who has an idea of what to pay for or how to pay for all the things they're promising. I mean, they attack Bernie Sanders for Medicare for all or everything else he's promised under the sun. I mean, you turn right around and you say the same thing to every person on that panel. I mean, nobody in that party, much less on that stage, cares about paying for anything. It's all the magical thinking that you can just continue to extract blood from billionaire stones, right? I mean, come on.
Well, and look, the mere talk of tax hikes, I mean, it takes you right back almost to Ronald Reagan and Walter Mondale. This idea that we're going to raise taxes, all of them are for tax increases. Now, if they really think that the tax increases won't have an effect on the economy, then I don't know where they've been. I mean, the history of this is pretty clear. We can and should have a more detailed conversation about the debt and deficit. But nonetheless, if you think you're going to raise taxes and not extract a price out of the economy for that, and so those very working people, again, the fracking, right, the anti-coal mining, all of those manufacturing jobs that that have been created under Trump's tax and regulatory policies, 500,000 manufacturing jobs are at risk for every Democrat on that stage. How do you win Pennsylvania with that kind of talk? How do you win Wisconsin, Michigan? It befuddles me, and yet yes, of course, Bernie is maybe the most extravagant of all, but as again I say, it's a difference in degree, not in kind.
Well, it's interesting because there seems to be divided opinion on Bernie and his electoral viability. Dean Obadiah at CNN, Jim Vanderhyde at Axios. Bernie Sanders could absolutely win this November. The evidence doesn't back Democrats' panic that Bernie can't win. And the panic is largely coming from inside the House, from people like Jonathan Chait. But nonetheless, there is those that are making the argument that Bernie can absolutely win this race.
Look, you know, if you're one of two finalists, yes, you definitely have a chance. And events can unfold in peculiar ways. And who knows, maybe the deep state will pull another fast one. But you would have to say that the odds don't favor that, and it's a little bit like pulling an inside straight flush. You need that one magic card, and I think that as you mentioned, the House members are worried. The Senate, that they feel like this is the year they should be able to take the Senate, at least narrowly, because of the number of Republican seats that are up and the number of close races. So if you have a weak top of the ticket, that definitely could be a domino for all of the House and Senate races, gubernatorial races. I mean, there's a lot riding on this, and I think pretty soon it'll be every man and woman for him and herself. That if Bernie is the nominee, I suspect a lot of people will find it very hard. Maybe the donors will give more to Pelosi and Schumer than they would to Bernie because they're trying to save something if they see a debacle coming at the top.
There's an interesting comment by Megan McArdle of Washington Post about Sanders. She tweeted, most likely Sanders is a committed socialist who wants the end of capitalism, but runs on the farthest left platform he thinks he can get away with. He would go further if possible. This is what his life history suggests, and I'm bemused watching smart people suggest otherwise. Well, part of it is he doesn't really suggest otherwise. There are other people suggesting otherwise on his behalf, trying to make him more palatable to the people that are concerned. But Bernie is pretty straightforward, per his comments on Castro, for example, that Megan McArdle is absolutely right.
You know, it's funny. People a lot of Bernie supporters will say, well, he's so authentic. He's been saying the same thing for 40 years. That's why I trust him. I don't trust somebody who hasn't changed in 40 years. I mean, look at your own life. My goodness. Is there anybody who doesn't change over 40 years? You see the world quite differently in most cases. That Bernie doesn't, that he still embraces some of that stuff. I don't see it as a matter of authenticity. I see it as somewhat frightening myself.
He is Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor. Michael, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you both.
Take care.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
In 2020, we will decide the direction of our nation for decades to come. Do you want more government in your life or more freedom? As a veteran, Jeannie Ives stands on the side of freedom. She took an oath to protect and defend our Constitution. Now, our American values are under attack. Our economic system, the rule of law, and our ability to create and pursue opportunity. In Illinois, Jeannie spent 7 years fighting corruption and reckless spending because every dime government spends comes out of your pocket. In Washington, Ives will fight to balance the budget, defend our borders, grow the economy, and stand in the way of big government policies. You deserve to have your voice heard in Washington, not to be talked down to by elitist politicians in your own backyard. Choose the candidate who works for you. Choose Jeannie Ives for Congress.
I'm Jeannie Ives, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Congress.
So maybe you have missing teeth and you're thinking about dental implants. There's a lot to consider: safety, quality, price, more. Make a call today. Get your questions answered. Implant Tuesday is today. It's your reminder to make the call and get the information. Dr. Neruzzi and his staff at Fox River Periodontics are waiting to take your call from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. Call 630-232-7400. Make the call and get the info to make a good decision. Dr. Neruzzi and his staff will tell you the truth about the procedure and everything you need to know, like the quality of the implant and what you should consider to make it a great experience. It's Implant Tuesday. Call 630-232-7400. Considered a trusted local practice for the western suburbs and all of Chicagoland. Fox River Periodontics is in Geneva. 630-232-7400 is the number. Or chat with them online at implants4me.com.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
I just took mine. 6 capsules of Balance of Nature, 3 fruits, 3 veggies. What I do is take a glass of warm water and I unleash the capsule into the warm water. It coats my throat. It makes me feel good. Since I've been taking Balance of Nature again, guess what? I haven't gotten a cold yet, Dan. Haven't gotten the flu. And don't even get me started on the coronavirus. But doctors say the best way to stay healthy is to boost your immune system. And you could do that by taking Balance of Nature, because admit it, we're not getting enough fruits and veggies on our own. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. So start your journey to better health today by calling 800-246-8751. 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or simply go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Transferring paper files to digital used to be complicated and expensive. Data and document capture had many IT layers involved. It was expensive, time-consuming, and labor-intensive. Not anymore, thanks to the Alaris Infuse Smart Connected Scanning Solution from Kodak Alaris and IDT. The Alaris Infuse solution makes data and document capture easy, and it's powered by Capsys Capture Online. Within a matter of minutes, you'll be able to accurately and reliably onboard content with instant notification of data issues, making the entire capture process smarter and more efficient. IDT can show you how to onboard content and make point of origin capture simple with the Alaris Infuse solution.
Relieve the burden of managing and maintaining business systems with IDT, helping your business keep pace with the evolution of information production and management. Set up a consultation today. Visit ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Or call 877-SCAN-IDT. IDT, putting paper in its place.
After 25 years of building websites for all kinds of companies in many different industries, AmericanEagle.com realized a well-designed website is also your best employee, bringing efficiency, revenue, production, showing up every day, giving above and beyond to increase your bottom line. That's what a website designed, developed, and hosted by AmericanEagle.com has brought to so many clients. An AmericanEagle.com website is a 24/7 branding exercise, building rapport and thus brand equity while you sleep. Companies like WeatherTech have relied on AmericanEagle.com's website design and development and hosting capabilities for years. When some of the world's top brands need a reliable company to prepare their sites for high-traffic events, who do they call? AmericanEagle.com. Their clients have come to rely on them for a full line of website services, from consulting and strategy to digital marketing, hosting, and maintenance. Give the team at AmericanEagle.com a call today. 1-877-WEB-NOW. The number 1 is the number. AmericanEagle.com is the website. 1-877-WEB-NOW1 is the number.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it was a poignant ceremony, memorial service for Kobe Bryant yesterday at the Staples Center in L.A. Star-studded affair, as you would expect, including our very own, his heiress, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan. And I don't think people really appreciated how close the relationship between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant was, but they certainly do after Jordan's eulogy.
We talked about everything, and he was just trying to be a better person. Now he's got me. I'll have to look at another crime meme for the next. I told my wife I wasn't going to do this because I didn't want to see that for the next 3 or 4 years. That is what Kobe Bryant does to me. I'm pretty sure Vanessa and his friends all can say the same thing. He knows how to get to you in a way that affects you personally, even though if he's being a pain in the ass. But you ever have a sense of love for him and the way that he can bring out the best in you. And he did that for me.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Thanks so much to Justin Kosick for being the best technical producer in the world. Yes, congratulations. I don't know if you know that.
Is he doing some volunteer work for you or something? Why are you buttering him up? There's something going on.
I need help with my iPhone.
Yeah.
And
apparently.
to Quinn McCarthy, who is
the best executive producer in the world. Suck up.
Back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
The winter weather is fizzling just a bit. We'll tell you how much snow may fall. Illinois knocked off Nebraska last night in Big Ten college hoops. WIND Chicago News Time. It's 9 o'clock.
A rebound on Wall Street. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Stocks are on the rise the day after that giant coronavirus fear.
Congratulations, you have the world's best cup of coffee. Yeah. My favorite scene from Elf. You did it!
Bring Hike tomorrow.
Let's see what he's got going on.